Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. Do we have audio? Do I have audio today? I cannot with the nonsense this day. I don't know about you guys, but everything has been so freaking stupid. I'm just gonna wait for the ads to roll over, and then I'll come on in. You know, it was. I've been getting ready, so I haven't been feeling well the last couple days. You guys might have been able to tell. Thank you for all the well wishes. There's been a couple of people who sent me a couple of messages, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I haven't been able to answer people because obviously I've been out of it. So, general thank you. Greatly appreciated for checking in on me. I'm okay. I overworked myself a little bit too much. Ow. As you do. Yeah, see, I knew it was commercial hell. It should be over now. Let me just get a light on here. There we go. Better. Hello. Hi. Hello. It's me. I've done it. I'm here. Hello. It's me. Okay. I got some tea. I got my shit show mug. It's gonna be one of those days. I forgot to charge my pen yesterday, so we're not doing art. My bad. Like I said, I'm out of it. So I wanted to show you guys this, because I came across this right as I started today. Bullshit overloaded the goblin brain. Yeah, no doubt. So time to jump back right into that. Look at this shit. The first line. The first line. Guys. Guys. What am I supposed to do about this? What, like, this is what I mean. I've just been like, why? Why do I even talk about things? What is even the point? what, what, what is even the point of even trying to have conversations? Like, that's how I felt yesterday, too. I was just like, I don't want to talk about anything anymore. I just don't want to. And, cause, like, why? Why should I bother? why are we here? Is it simply to suffer? The first line in this just says, "I never understood the stigma around rape." Oh, okay. Maybe we just go back to bed. Maybe we just go back to bed. Maybe we just don't care. Maybe we just stop existing. Maybe we just give up. Maybe we're doomed. You turn up 5 minutes late, and this is the starting point, my friend. This is where we've started today. Why are we here? What what are we even doing? I didn't even bother reading the rest of this comment. I'm not gonna lie when I first opened it, cause like I said, what's the point? Why do we care? Why does it matter? The Geneva Convention, more like the Geneva Suggestion. Oh my fucking legs, Greco. I d- What's the why? Do we want to read the rest of this? Can we just throw it away? Can we be done? Can we can we stop? Alright. I never understood the stigma around rape. Westerners and liberals just keep coming with new man made issues every day to make people vote for them. I. He, nope. 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 That's nope. I'm not okay. Look at the first line of this. I'm not okay. Give up. I don't know why we're here. I've been I've been feeling about the past couple of days, so thank you for checking in. I appreciate that. What am I supposed to do with this? What do I do? Send help. Just get me out of here. What's going on? I'm gonna pop out chat so I can see it a little bit easier. Hello. Hi. Burn it to the ground. Yeah. Yep. I have one other thing to look at today too. We have like a little video for Aaron because Aaron decided to put out a video and it's probably the funniest shit I think I have ever seen in my life. And it's a lot more amusing than this. This is just awful. Everything about this is terrible. We live in a society, I guess. There's something I like to call radical acceptance. And radical acceptance just means you understand that people are people, even the worst of us, and it would be like that. I have a surprise save for you guys, and I'm debating on when I want to whip it out. I kind of feel like it should be now. Having sex before marriage is obviously very, very wrong. Then explain it. If it's wrong, you should be able to explain why. Puck's on the floor over there. I didn't even make the bed. Look at this is how much of a mess I am today. I didn't even think about I didn't even some everything's a mess. Everything's a mess today. Remember the other day when I was explaining you can look at people's backgrounds about like what's in their videos and you can kind of get a vibe for what they're like or where their head's at? Chaos. It's just I don't want to why. I didn't think about it. It didn't even cross my mind like normally. I'm out of it. I'm out of it, man. I don't know what to tell you. Ugh. But whether consent is involved or not doesn't matter at all. Oh, okay. Both are equally very bad. Sex outside of marriage, equally bad to non-consensual sex. The girl will be forgiven by a law if she was forced, then what is the thing to be sad about? She got sexual pleasure without getting any sin in her account. Ah, I seem to have realized where this misunderstanding is stemming from. Oh no. So this person's misunderstanding is seems to be stemming from sex equals pleasure. That is not how that works. And believe it or not, different sexual organs operate differently. Who even wants to be monetized? Is Larry still here? I have something to tell Larry if he's still here. And it's really funny. Larry, if you're still here and haven't run away screaming yet, first off, I appreciate you. Second off, if you did, I totally understand. uh, Girls are very naive anyway, according to biology and neuroscience. How does somebody have a strong socio understanding of biology and neuroscience, but not understand that sexual pleasure, how sexual what Getting consent is a piece of cake if you can dominate. Mm. That is all what girls crave for. Oh, my friend, I would like to introduce you to some dommy mommies. This is enough scientific proof that consent is anti-scientific, but these hypocrite liberals just want to lie. Well, how? Okay. Something that I've noticed with a lot of these kinds of posts, because these are common. Like, I didn't pick out a random weird one. These types of posts are all over the place. And something that I want to denote here is that why does it always turn political? It's almost like it is a political message and it's political propaganda trying to wrap itself up in science. It's not. It's not. If a guy can't control his desires, it is better to rape rather than hypnotizing a woman who is not his wife or concubine to give consent. Why let any other woman become sinful too? Keep your sin with yourself. Oh, okay. Alright. Welcome, bot. Good to see you. I can't help but notice our chat doesn't seem to be on. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. Ba-ba-ba. Did it log me out? Why am I not logged in? Hold on. Fuck, what are you barking about? Don't start with me. Puck. Why are you being like this? There we go. Okay, chat should be working now. Puck, did you like a boop? Boop! Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's see if this is working now. Wait, what the hell? Yeah, where is chat? What the hell? What is happening? What did I do? Something is wrong. Which chat is right? Oh, it's right there. Why are you not here? There you go. There you are. Which chat? Okay, bot's there. We Gucci. Cool. We also have alerts. I'm not sure where they are though. They're gonna probably pop up in the middle. Alright, anyway, chat's back. Welcome back, chat. Buy followers link. Best to ban the bot. Get it, ban the bot. Get this bot out of here. And I can't click on anything. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Close the pop out for a second. There we go. There we go. RNGD, you're a mod now. Get it. Get the bot. Don't want 1 million new followers? No. I don't. Get him. Alright, hold on. Now I gotta pop chat back out again. Oh god. I'm so this day, I swear to god. What are we even doing here? Let me fix that. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. Bash a bot. Nice. Thanks, RGD. Well done. Alright, anyway, this guy's dumb. I found it on Twitter. Protect us from who? Whomst? Or whomst the bell tolls. Okay. Now that we're done with that very big piece of stupid, I can close this again. Let's look at this Aaron video. So, okay, here's the thing, right? I don't really like following and talking about the same content and the same content creators all the time. It's just not really my shtick. It's not really what I like doing. I'm not a big fan of it. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk about Aaron because who the fuck cares? Like, let's be real. We've kind of said, oh no, RNGD out here. He's gone to the power, it's gone to his head. He's gone too far. Oh no. Oh boy. God damn it. I give one of you power, and then they just. Look at what happens. Oh, I love you guys. So, alright. I was gonna show you guys the dog while he was laying on the floor, and then I realized, like, I haven't. There's laundry on the floor now, too. Boop. He moved onto the bed. Okay. What if Erin is just doing this to get attention because she lacks it and is doing this all on purpose? I mean, it's pretty risky to risk bold to risk jail time for internet attention from somebody as small as I am. Like, I'm not exactly a big YouTube creator. It's not like she's gonna get anything out of it. Ugh. Pencil. But then, so I was like, is it really worth following? Is it really like, who the fuck cares? And then I remembered, and I remembered enjoying that I've been watching Egghead following Jared, because it's been it's been a trip, and Jared is like a nightmare person, and I feel like Erin is the same kind of person. You know what I mean? Like she's just like a little bit more sophisticated, but I feel like that's the only real difference is that like it's just like just a slight little bit of like the wrong type of attention, and Aaron will just like fly over the Jared Genesis crevasse. That's what it seems like to me, and I don't know. I don't know. This video was really funny, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. It's not long. We're not gonna be here for 7 hours again, just processing. It's a brainchild that is. But here, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. She made a video. All right. She made a video response. And you guys like saw what I had said, right? Like that's not in question. I say I'm not gonna be here for 7 hours just talking about Aaron, but then again, there's a lot to unpack. Okay, so so remember what I said about the backgrounds? Yeah, it applies to me too. So you can kind of see like where my brain is at if I didn't like I forgot to make the bed, or like everything's a mess right now because I'm just exhausted and my brain is not functioning currently. And so I guess Erin took what I said to heart because she turned her back around. She got a green screen and put herself in a garage, but not just any garage. It's a carpeted garage. Look, it's got carpet. And it's an absolute mess. So I guess she didn't like people reading her mental state. Erin reminds you of Sturgis. She barely exists outside of being an extension of Steve. Am I feeling pwned yet? Actually, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, she's more of like a proxy. Like, Jared Genesis exists as an entity on his own. Erin doesn't really exist as an entity on her own. I think that's a really good point. So, this was in response to, if you remember, we watched her accidentally admit to contempt of court and potentially witness tampering. this is her response to that. And I would like to remind you all this is a video, and she left this in where she hits the record button. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why in an edited video you would do this, but own the libs. Yo, you right. Yo, you right. All right. I mean, okay. Turn the volume up so you guys can hear it. And all right. Okay, let's.
Hi. So, Cheshire streamed about me yet again for hours. I really.
Is it supposed to be like a shy giggle? Is that what that's supposed to be? Is that what that is? Is anybody gonna read on the giggle? Hi.
So, Cheshire streamed about me yet again for hours. I'm not even mad. Like, I hope she continues. It's all I've ever wanted, really. But I have to remark, though, a little bit on this stream, because in this stream, she made a couple of claims that is just ridiculous. First of all, she claimed that I was admitting to contempt of court, which I find that to be a tad difficult, since the court has yet to rule on anything to determine whether or not there has been any contempt. So how can I admit to something that does not yet exist?
How could you admit to something that does not yet exist because a court hasn't made a ruling on it yet? Guys, do crimes only exist if you're found guilty? Did Al Capone do nothing wrong except for tax evasion? What? I don't even know. So I watched this video already, and I died a little bit. That's so fucking stupid. I don't I don't even know how to express how dumb what she just said is. Guys, did you know that crimes never take place unless prosecuted? Your Honor, my client hasn't been convicted of the crime that he's on trial for. Therefore, he can't have admitted to anything. Okay, so here's the thing. How are do admissions that police get as part of an investigation, does that just not exist? Are those not real? What if you admit to something you haven't even been charged with? She seems to be confusing the word guilty. Like, she hasn't been found guilty yet. But I didn't say she was guilty. I said she confessed. And besides, there's a whole other conversation in here that doesn't fucking matter anyway, because it's not like the court is the determinative factor of morals. We don't decide our morals based on a random court in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. That's not how any of that works. So this is very, very stupid. That is a very, very this is there's a special like level of dumb where Aaron tweaks my brain. I don't know if I've talked about it before, but anytime I can read Aaron, or anytime I see Aaron talking, even when I see her under a pseudonym that later ends up being confirmed as her, 10 seconds. At maximum, I get 10 seconds and my brain just goes, and I'm like, that's Aaron. that's an Aaron stupid. It's just so dumb. It's just like a very particular type of spice, and I don't know what it is. It's probably pink cotton candy, blue simple syrup flavored. Isn't contempt of court something you were found doing and then you have to plead your case to the judge? Yes. Yeah, so the way contempt of court works is that you get served, or at least how it's worked with Erin is that she got served with papers that are that are her having to show how she's not in contempt of court. Right? So she then has to demonstrate to the court how she is not in contempt. I can only imagine that's going to be harder if she's running around on the internet telling people that she's in contempt. You guys, does your brain ever itch? Have you ever experienced that where your brain is itching?
At this time. It may not. Who knows? The other thing, though, that she accused me of was witness tampering. Now, or no, she said I admitted to witness tampering. That's right. Now, what she's referring to is a DM I sent her months ago. Now, my reasoning for sending a DM is because I saw that she was being lied to about something, and she was then reiterating those lies as fact, putting them out there. And I thought, just like I would for pretty much anyone that I had or have any kind of professional respect or compassion for, I would reach out to them and try to save them the embarrassment that they will undoubtedly feel when the facts do become known.
That's mostly fine, whatever, I don't care. The reason why you did it is not really relevant. The point is that you did. So just reiterating that you did the thing doesn't mean you didn't do the thing all of a sudden, or that you should have done the thing. It's not. Whatever. What was I being lied to about? Who was lying to me, and what did I say that was incorrect? I don't know. Um, from what I can tell, she's either referring to the SWAT video or she's referring to the video that I did in response to her responding to the SWAT video. Because I played a little bit of ping pong on that. They never responded to it, so I don't really know what she's referring to. Um, Whatever. Anyway, facts becoming known. This is supposed to be a closed court hearing. This isn't a public court hearing, so the facts aren't really necessarily supposed to be, for public consumption. So I don't know if this is her saying that she is going to disregard the court rule and make facts of the case public anyway. This is certainly an admission to breaking the court rule and making the information, like disseminating information she wasn't supposed to be disseminating it to. But okay, go on, yes.
So that's what I did. And let me show you exactly how and when I did that to determine if this was in fact tampering or even with a witness. Now, what I'm talking about is this. This is the DM I sent her, my last DM to her, which was November 23rd. But in here, I say, I did redact some of it, but it needed to be redacted. But the rest of it says, I figure you should have.
Here's the exact thing that I said. Oh, but I redacted it. It needed to be redacted. Oh yeah, which part needed to be redacted, Aaron? You guys want to know? You guys want to know which parts needed to be redacted? Would you all like to know? I'm taking that as an yes. I'm taking that as a yes. So the parts that she blurred out, I don't know how easily you guys can see it. I can see it on my screen, so you guys let me know. So it's like blah 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 blah. I figured you should have at least should have the facts at least. Also, the stream you're playing is meant for members only, and was still sick. It's not my best stream, but shit happens. Blah 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 blah. I'm happy to share if you like. Blah 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 blah. So, so this is what she sent me. So the last time we had spoken before this was April of 2022. And then I without any messages, you can see this is my last message where I answered her question. She was like, "Is this you? Is this a sock account?" No, it's not me. Here is a link to the TRO. Can I zoom this in for you guys? There you go. Better? Here is a link to the TRO. You can see there is nothing stating I can't discuss anyone. Aaron, it's a TRO. That means one of the people involved is protected. Means you shouldn't be talking about the person who's protected. You silly, silly person. I figured you should have the facts facts at least. The facts. Also, the stream you're playing, I meant for members only and was still sick. Yeah, I remember talking about this at the time. It didn't matter because she was putting out she was mad and said that I had this wrong information, but I was talking about like DramaCon and shit. She talked about that. She brought that up. I didn't need to get that from anywhere. And so I guess she was trying to disseminate information through her paid area of her channel, but that doesn't make that any better regardless. It's not my best stream, but shit happens. Also, I have most tweets of mine, Charla's, and others saved as well as the DMs where she conspired, she meaning Charla, conspired against people. I'm happy to share if you like, but here's this for now, and then it goes to a drive link. I'm not gonna show you guys the drive link. I'll tell you where it goes to. This is a link that is not protected by a password. It's anybody with this link can view. It goes straight to a folder that Erin has notes in about her case and has her court paperwork in it, or at least a portion of it. This, again, I remind you, is in November. She had her TRO for August, and her hearing in September. This was in November, so she already had a hearing. She had already been served paperwork for months at this point. Why is this part redacted, Erin, if you're not doing anything wrong? If you're not talking about the protected person, what are you doing? What you doing? Right, Puck? Yeah, you got it. So, yes, go on, Erin. Why were these parts redacted?
The facts, at least. Also, the stream you're playing, I meant for members only, and was still sick. It's not my best stream, but shit happens. I'm happy.
Do you guys notice the difference when Erin reads something that she wrote and the cadence she uses, or compared to like when she reads other people's texts or messages?
To share if you like. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds more like a whimper than a tamper. And
Erin, you said I was being lied to. Who do you think I was being lied to? Charla? Did you think Charla was lying to me? Charla didn't tell me anything. I was able to find everything through your fucking channel and all your friends. But regardless, that thing that I'm happy to share if you like is your information regarding Charla and private conversations that you had with her where you claim she is conspiring against people. That is you, the defendant, trying to color my perception of the of the person coming at you, the protected person in the TRO. You clown. I have like that she keeps emphasizing the members only part. That was members only Chesh. Ever heard of privacy? Check me. Yeah, I know, right? It's almost like she just keeps telling people, but Chesh, I was busy making money off of it. I was busy making money off of harassing this woman. Don't you stop don't wreck my golden goose train. That's the whimper part. Aaron. Aaron, I'm happy to share if you like the conversations, the DMs. You were offering to share her DMs with me. Are you just mad because I didn't bite? You'll notice I never answered this. I didn't need anybody's private information. Oh god. Anyway. Go on.
And witness? Notice the date there, November 23rd, 2023. Now, I had been unaware of there ever going to be any kind of witness list or witnesses or anything. It hadn't even been considered or thought of, conceived of yet, or anything.
Oh, that's just dumb on your part then. You already had your TRO in place. You had already been to one hearing. You have no idea when I was going on the witness list or when there was talks about that, so ah, my pause game is great. I love my pause game. But I don't know, if she already had a hearing and knew she was planning on defending herself in September, right? Then by November, how is it possible that didn't she invite people to DramaCon? Wasn't she already saying that all of you people watching could be witnesses? Didn't she say that already? I was pretty sure she said that already. I'm pretty sure she said that in that DramaCon video or in one of those videos that was like in September or whatever. No. No. I love it when somebody uses the excuse, but your honor, I'm just a fucking moron. What am I supposed to do? I'm just stupid. What am I even supposed to do with this? Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Come on, man.
In fact, I don't even think that the other side had an attorney yet at this time. So,
So what? Let's assume that the other side, Charla, in the case that you're not supposed to be talking about, that you're giving private details about, right now, in a case you're not supposed to be talking about, the case that you claimed that you're not supposed to be talking about, Aaron's case, Charlotte's case, that case. So what? Why would it matter if she had an attorney or not? That's her business. That's not your problem. So?
I'm not quite sure how it's tampering when she was months away from even landing herself on a witness list. In fact, I didn't even know that there were going to be witness lists until February 2024. This was months before then.
You didn't know that you're supposed to have witnesses for a hearing until the month of? Interesting, because your buddies with Steve, right? Weren't you all trying to get witnesses for the California case? Wasn't there that mod call that got released where y'all were talking about getting statements down from Charla's estranged family members for that California hearing that he dropped? That one? No? Really? Hmm. Hmm. So there is intimidation of a witness or a victim, and an aggravated version. Any witness or a victim from attending or giving testimony at a civil or criminal trial proceeding with inquiry authorized by law. Let's take a look. This is Kansas specifically, because why wouldn't we look specifically at Kansas? Intimidation of a witness or a victim is preventing or dissuading or attempting to prevent or dissuade to an extent with an intent to vex, annoy, harm, or injure in any way another person, or an intent to thwart or interfere in any manner with the orderly administration of justice. Any witness or victim from attending or giving testimony at a civil or criminal trial proceeding with inquiry authorized by law, or any witness, victim, or person acting on behalf of a victim from making any report of the victimization of a victim to any law enforcement officer, prosecutor, blah, 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 causing complaint, incitement, or information to be sought and prosecuted over causing a violation of probation, blah, 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 blah. Acts in furtherance of a conspiracy. Acts is committed by a person who has been previously convicted, blah, 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 blah. Gain. Acting upon request of another person. Intimidation and aggravated intimidation. So, Aaron's followers trying to harangue me for showing up as a witness, for example. Aaron coming and sliding into my DMs to bullshit me, to try to change my mind about an ongoing case that she says that I might have been a witness in. Uh-oh. Maybe she should have looked it up. Who am I kidding? We know she can't read.
So, I mean, unless she wants to, I mean, she can go ahead and admit and claim that this is witness tampering, but she should realize, though, that she's then leaving the door open for me, for in the future, for me to unavoidably probably be called to a lawsuit on behalf of her because of her cyberbullying that pushed someone to the point of no return. And I can then sit there and say, these streams she did about me way back then, that was witness tampering because now I'm a witness.
What? What? Alright, I'm gonna break that down. Okay. you I'm just gonna assume that you said that wrong, and you didn't mean that you would be a witness on behalf of me. You mean you would be a witness against me, on behalf of the other part, the injured party. But the injured party you were saying is somebody I have unavoidably cyberbullied into unaliving themselves? Is that, you're saying that I've cyberbullied somebody to suicide? And considering how unavoidable this apparently is, who are you referring to? Lastly, the way lawsuits work is they would have to be a family member of the individual. Because, like, it can't just be you and your friends. That's not how that works. So, what? No you isn't an argument. No you accusing me of doing the thing that you're doing doesn't absolve you from you doing that thing, right? So even if I was doing whatever she seems to think that I'm doing, like I'm cyberbullying somebody, even if I was, it doesn't absolve her from the situation that she's gotten herself in. I could be the worst person in the world. That it doesn't change her behavior. That it has no. We're not grading on a scale, Aaron. This is also a poor individual that she's. You can't make a poll. You want to make a poll? Hold on, let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Can I give you permissions to do that? Uh, uh, I don't know how to give you permissions to do that. Hello, welcome. I The other problem is the poor family that she's wishing this upon. She seems very like this little giggle in here gets me. Like, let me just put it back. Right here, she's it's this little giggle that she's got going on.
You should realize, though, that she's then leaving the door open for me, for in the future, for me to unavoidably probably be called to.
Why does she think it's funny that that I'm cyberbullying somebody to the point of no return? And she's giggling about it, that it's unavoidable that this is happening. Why does she think that's funny? I don't understand. That's not like it's not funny, Aaron.
But she should realize, though, that she's then leaving the door open for me, for in the future, for me to unavoidably probably be called to a lawsuit on behalf of her because.
So whoever this is gonna do this lawsuit against me, supposedly, has to go through borders. Like has to go over borders, and I do not wish that upon that person. That sounds awful. Trying to do like one thing I have learned from all of this court stuff that I've been witnessing going on, it is very difficult to protect yourself through legal means, let alone like even in your own state, let alone trying to do it over borders. So that would be very expensive, and I do not envy that person who's trying to do that. God damn. That would suck. If you think I'm cyberbullying you to the point of no return, reach out. Uh, I mean, if you ask me to probably just, if you just send me a message, I'll probably just stop talking about you. Like, I don't even want to be here to talk about Erin. The only reason I'm here to talk about Erin is one, she's accusing me of causing somebody to commit suicide, and two, it's all court related. Once this court stuff's over, I can't wait to not talk about Erin anymore. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I beg for the day. I don't know how much longer it's going to be because there's contempt charges that are going to be contended with, so I have no idea how long that's going to take, but I look forward to never having to talk about this again. It's going to be wonderful. It'll be great. I'm not going to have to talk about Steve anymore either. It's going to be great. Yay! We don't have to talk about Renell either. The company. I'm just waiting for the company to go bankrupt, basically. They basically have no content. They're pretty morally bankrupt at the same time. So realistically, at the end of the day, what the company's gonna they'll just go away. It'll be good. We'll move on with our time. It'll be wonderful.
Of her cyberbullying that pushed someone to the point of no return, and I can then sit there and say these streams she did about me way back then, that was witness tampering because now I'm a witness.
No, that's not how that works. You're the one who claimed that you reached out to me to change my mind because you didn't want me to do something stupid like go to court as a witness. Like fly all the way to Kansas for some bullshit reason, which was to go be a witness. You're the one who said that. Me telling you you're wrong doesn't make you me tampering with you as a witness. I'm not a time traveler. That's not how that works. Do you think I can time travel? Is that how you think I'm able to debunk you whenever you try to watch my live streams on your channel? I'm debunking you from the past because I can see the future. Woo! No, Aaron, you should have looked up witness intimidation or witness tampering before you did this. This was a video. This is a video. This wasn't even a live stream where you tried to do this off of like the top. Just look it up.
But I digress. Neither is witness tampering. That's my point. Now, I want to just make some.
I mean, I showed the definition of witness tampering. She absolutely tried to interfere. Thwart or interfere in any manner. Let alone the amount of vex, annoy, harm, or injure.
something very clear. I don't want anything to befall Cheshire. Nothing bad, nothing good. I don't want to influence anyone's anything to befall on Cheshire. I want to inspire her to get. I want to inspire nothing for her. Nothing, one way or the other. Just nothing. I want to have no inspiration on her
Lag.
life, no effect on her life, no anything. Because in all honesty, she has none in mine. She did not do me any harm.
Tell that to your followers. You keep trying to give me a hard time. You know, the Holocaust denier ones? Those ones. Side note, I have no effect. Really? You changed, girl. You changed your background. you, you brought up a green screen. Because you didn't like that I psychoanalyzed your background. You can do it to mine. Look, there's a dark butt right there. There's a mess. Because I didn't do it today. You can psychoanalyze mine if you want. Okay, there's a bumper. Yes. He's like, shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. You can do it to mine. I'm not going to be offended. I don't know if you're going to do a good job, but, you know. It's okay, Aaron. It's not, you don't have to pretend. If I bother you, you can just say so. It's fine.
She did not do me. Yeah, she did not do me any harm, and I don't think she could ever do me any harm. I don't expect her to. I'm not worried about it. I'm not mad at her. I don't hate her. I do dislike her. I do dislike her, but I don't hate her. So yeah, I'm over it. It's yesterday's news, much like she is. So perhaps she and the other goblin.
Like that little bit of sass she tries to throw in there. She's like yesterday's news. What is this, 1952? He's literally whining for the balls, by the way. That is what's happening right now. There you go, Puck. He's got like 5 of them just around the house now. Trumpian tangent? No doubt, right? I'm not mad. I'm over it. It's not important. And it's okay. It's yesterday's news, much like her. No, Puck does not. I have to go fetch when Puck and I play fetch. Are you eating the blanket now too? He's like, no. Okay.
So yeah, I'm over it. It's yesterday's news, much like she is. So perhaps she and the other goblin twin can make it yesterday's news for them too, as well.
You know, maybe people can stop making it their business when you stop making it public. And then maybe when the court is over, or maybe you stop accusing people of cyberbullying somebody at the point of no return, and maybe people will stop, like, responding to stuff like very serious accusations made that with nothing presented. Maybe when you stop just, you know, putting out bullshit screenshots that need to be corrected. Maybe if you ever correct anything like the bullshit you said about Manya, by the way, since she did she did a whole video put together that corrected you about the shit you were wrong about, and instead of correcting her, you tried to frame her as racist, you fucking weirdo. Like, Aaron, I'm over Chesh. Also, Aaron continues to make videos of Chesh. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad. Do I seem mad? The thing is like, listen to our tonal differences. I actually don't care. Erin cares very much, and it's okay, she can care. I don't know why she's pretending she doesn't, though. Image? I don't know. I don't know why it would matter if she cares or not. I think it's fine if she cares. Would you guys, okay, if I cared, mad yes, angry no. Ah, I see, I see. All right. So let's say somebody made a video about me, right? And I did a live stream like I'm doing right now. And I'm asking you, people watching, um, if I was bothered by what was in the video, right? And I said, wow, this bothers me. Would you guys think less of me for being bothered? Like, like is it a problem for like looking at a social situation and saying, "Wow, this," because like the harassment that I've seen from the company bothers me. Like that bothers me. That's kind of why I started talking about it. If it didn't bother me, then I wouldn't care, and I probably wouldn't talk about it this much. But because like it bothers me, I care. So because I care, I talk about it because it's something I care about, and it bothers me. So if I just don't I just don't know why you would need to pretend like something didn't bother you. I Do you think Erin's audience would think less of her if she was bothered by something that somebody said and talked about it? I try not to pretend that I care when I don't care, and I try not to pretend. I try not to be performative. We'll put it that way. I try not to be performative. I try not to react to things in an overblown manner or in a manner that is not a like has to be made up, right? You'll notice that I'm not really over exaggerating my my cadence or my responses to even this video. And I'm not gonna lie, when the first time I watched this video, I was just like kind of pissing myself laughing a little bit. This is a very funny video. But like I try not to be fake at the very least. I like to think I'm pretty authentic, but I don't know. I don't know. So she
But
wants to
in
be
the
yes.
meantime, please keep.
So she wants to be yesterday's news. She wants us to stop talking about her, but go on, yeah.
I'm over it. It's yesterday's news, much like she is. So perhaps she and the other goblin twin can make it yesterday's news for them too, as well. But in the meantime, please keep streaming about me. And thank you very much for giving me yet another opportunity to prove you wrong. Bye. Hi.
Did she flick a fan on? Is that what I just witnessed? What? Watch her hair.
Another opportunity to prove you wrong. Bye.
There's a click and her hair starts moving, and then a click. So she stopped. She turned her fan on before she stopped recording and left it in the video. What? Was that fan on the whole time? I didn't notice it. Like it even comes through on the audio, right? The audio changes. Hold on.
Much for giving me yet another opportunity to prove you wrong. Bye.
I hear birds. What the fuck? I own Chesh's sad life on the tubes. Yeah, you didn't prove anything wrong, Aaron. To do that, you would actually have to present something. You didn't present anything I said. You can't prove me wrong without showing me. They do this all the time. You can't. That's not how it works. If I want to show Aaron's wrong, I have to show what Aaron said. And so I showed what Aaron said. I showed the screenshot she presented, and then I showed you the full context. That's how you prove somebody wrong. She described witness tampering. I'm like, that's not correct. Or she described what she thinks is, oh, none of this is witness tampering. And so I pulled up what witness tampering was. That's how you prove somebody wrong. You just sitting there brainlessly just vomiting nonsense doesn't prove anything. I don't know, you're sitting there in your human suit instead of being an honest goblin. Dapper at least shows us his real Ceratosaur self. This is true. I did have a goblin VTube model. I did have one of those. I can probably go make another one. It's just the birds. That's just the birds where her brain should be. I want to know who I'm cyberbullying, first off. She seems very not concerned for this her person that unavoidably exists that's not going to survive my content. Alright, well, I like the giggle. Her fake giggle is hilarious to me. Like, listen to this.
For giving me yet another opportunity to prove you wrong. Bye.
It's so fake. Oh, no. Anyway, this video is very funny. Since then, she's been doing some other content, but I don't really care to look. Oh, we should look at the comments, right? Quick reply to Chesh's latest slander on me. Oh, okay. Is that what that is? Slander? Okay, sure. Blah blah. Blah blah blah. Views and thoughts and words shared in this video are either poorly made attempts to mock and parody the person or event featured. I mean, I wonder how much of this her disclaimer here actually applies to this video. I'd be curious to know. Alright, let's check the comment section. What do we got going on here? The 11 comments. 11 comments. What you got? What you got? Genuine question. How do these people pay their bills? How can they spend so much time in front of their computers, stalking others, and not work? I don't understand how this is possible. Do they still live with their parents? Funny you should ask that. To my knowledge, last I knew that the one discussed here does not work, hasn't in years, still lives with mom, and is like 30 or something. I'm assuming she means me. I wonder where she got that information. Clearly. Wow, so the person who demonizes normal people on the internet while they are working and living their lives is unemployed and does it from her bedroom at mommy's house. Yeah, she's a real important... Laughing my fucking ass off. Guys, can you please define what a job is? Side note, I get a kick out of this one only because, so what? It doesn't matter if I'm Bill Gates, and it doesn't matter if I am a homeless person on the street. Chesh isn't unemployed, she's an artist. Wait a minute. You can't just say that to me, Athens. How could you? Oh, I've been murdered. Oh, no. I'm never gonna recover from this. How could you say that to me? How could you? What did I ever do to you? YouTube and Twitch is a paying job. Yes, it is. So yeah. We're back to my taxes are none of your business. But yeah, it wouldn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a non sequitur. It's just an ad hom, right? It's, oh, you're poor, therefore you don't matter. Or what you have nothing valuable to say, or your argument isn't valid, and that's just not how that works. That is an ad hominem fallacy. It's just trying to insult somebody and using that insult as a way to dismiss what they've said. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money I do or do not have. It doesn't matter what my job may or may not be, right? Oh, thank you so much,
Hey,
Rory.
how are you?
We're doing okay. I'm looking at the comment section of this, and it's my brain is falling apart. You gotta love explaining fallacies to ignorant schmucks. Okay, you can count on Chesh not to let little things like facts or logic get in her way. True. Accurate statements. Nothing can stop me. The thing is like I like to view myself like in what I do as like a river. If a rock is a fact, then I like to work with that fact and with that logic. So, of course, facts and logic won't get in my way. They're part of the system. They're a necessary part of the system. Facts or logic. Not facts and logic. Facts or logic. Facts and logic don't get in your way because they help you along. See, exactly. You get it. You get it. You need to tell Steve to come get his girl. She is desperately seeking Steve. Huh? Oh, no, we've got another Australian. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Enjoy your time. I appreciate having you. Again, you'll notice ad hom, ad hom, ad hom. There's none of these are any kind of like logic or fact or reasoning as to why I'm wrong or what I'm even wrong about. So there's nothing. This is popcorn. This is sipping tears. This is. Oh, hey, it's that Jesse LaRusso guy. We did a Dumb Fact Friday on this guy, and he very, very much embarrassed himself. It was kind of sad, actually. Just another KJ. Katie Joy, a different YouTuber that talks about TMZ and whatever the fuck else she talks about. I don't know. Sister Wives? I don't know. So she watches those reality TV shows. Lies about everything just to be relevant. Good job calling her out. What did I lie about? They're just trying to get a reaction. Have a great weekend. Well, I guess I succeeded then. You always do a great job proving those two idiots wrong. Chesh is not the brightest, is she? What an idiot. Oh, this is that racist person. I think a lot of people confuse dislike and hate. Maybe. I mean, she acts like she was any more privy to what was going on more than anyone else on the internet. Did I? Everybody knew what was going on. I didn't think it was weird that people thought otherwise, but okay. It would be different if she was even a friend of yours, but she wasn't. Well, Aaron was trying to blow smoke up my ass once upon a time, but sure. I mean, you might as well make everyone's subscribers witnesses. That's what Veda and Aaron tried to do. They tried to bring in after demand. Okay, so let me break this down. What was DramaCon? This woman wanted to get a bunch of people to show up in and around her court date. She asked her followers and her subscribers to give her information and help build her case and send her stuff so she could be ready for court. She asked them to be witnesses to let her know if they were able or willing to go to Kansas to go be witnesses. And then when we got to the court, they didn't have anybody. Neither her nor Veda had anybody as witnesses, and Veda tried to submit testimony from her followers or from people, and the judge said no, because all of the witnesses needed to be there in person. And one of the reasons all the witnesses needed to be there in person is because the court was worried about fuckery, and because Aaron and Veda submitted paperwork to request that all witnesses be there in person. I'm the only one from the internet who showed up. Manya would have shown up, but she had to go all the way from New Zealand. And, like, going from New Zealand to Kansas, America is quite the fucking expensive trip. So yeah, they did ask their subscribers to be witnesses. But the other problem too is I'm not in a case. I'm not under any court rules right now. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But at the same time, I'm also not like I'm not the defendant, nor am I the protected individual. And here's the other thing: the protected individual is also not a YouTuber or a content creator in any capacity. This isn't YouTuber versus YouTuber. This is a bunch of YouTubers versus one random lady. Maybe the reason I act like I'm more privy to what's going on than anybody else, like compared to like by anybody else they mean people following Aaron and friends, it's because I pay attention and I'm smarter than you are. Just because you can't figure this shit out doesn't mean nobody else can. Which would be pointless because I barely remember the person's name that is using Cheshire as a witness, because she wasn't anything or anyone to me. Okay? I wasn't a subscriber of hers or even care about the Facebook group. You can't have been. That's the point. She is nobody. She isn't anybody. She is just a random lady. I am Canadian, actually. I traveled to America for the case, so I am from Canada. If you're going to visit Canada, I recommend go to Canada in the fall and take a drive through New Brunswick. New Brunswick is gorgeous in the fall. I absolutely 100% recommend it. It's actually really nice in the summer as well, but the fall, as long as like make sure it's like mid-early fall, because then you're gonna get like still some splashes of greens and reds and yellows. It's beautiful. Northern Ontario is actually very pretty as well for that if you're interested. But I would recommend New Brunswick. Where was I? Oh, I only remember one interaction I had with her because I took screenshots of it. Okay. This doesn't. Thanks, Mousy Files. Who dis? Hey, you got birds. Ah. It's been a while since I've seen Virillion around. I hope he's doing well. Anyway, that's all I had for this video. I don't think there's anything more to add outside of I can't wait to find out who I am inevitably cyberbullying to the point of no return. I've been utterly destroyed. Make sure you try poutine. If you're gonna get poutine, go to Quebec. Anyway, that was all I had for this. What was I doing? I immediately distracted myself thinking about poutine. I kind of want to like this video, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to give it a thumbs up. Alright, let's go to my watch later list. I think that was all I had. Oh yes, okay, so there's drama in the gaming space. With the Aerith versus Tifa people, and these people are crazy. Like, watching these people argue is it like I have not joined this argument because I've just been too busy watching it. I'm just like I have to observe. Her commenters are praising her but don't know how dumb she was acting in court, want to reenact how she embarrassed herself to the judge. Oh, like the 17 times. They don't her followers think what she said in that video was smart. Oh, thank you so much, Rory. I really appreciate that. You can't watch this video and not laugh at it. This is what I think this is something that Manya was saying, because I agree with her on this. Erin is being trolled. She's currently got like the trolls that act like they like her and push her into making bad decisions. The more videos like that Erin makes, the worse off she's gonna be in the court. right? So the more that she keeps talking about court when she's not supposed to be talking about court, the worse it's going to be for her. So what she's got is she's got a bunch of people in her comment sections that are encouraging her and laughing at her from behind the screen. That's what's happening. Here, there's a restaurant in Georgia, USA that has great poutine. JK. I haven't had poutine in America. I don't know if it's any good. Maybe I should try and find some next time I'm down there because I'm likely going back to Kansas because there is another hearing date for another situation or for another YouTuber in the same situation. It's such a clusterfuck. It's such a clusterfuck. So let's talk about this thing. So right now there's also, speaking of legal stuff, there's a campaign going on right now that's being run by Accursed Farms. And for anybody who doesn't know who Accursed Farms is, oh, hold on. Accursed Farms was like on the internet back in the machinima days. Um, and so right now he's trying to make legal change to the, I guess, the planet, because he's going for the UK, he's going for Canada, he's going for America, he's going for Brazil, France. It like he's basically going on a crusade of sorts to try and get changes done in the gaming industry because he thinks that the practices by the gaming companies, by like the AAA companies, is not either legal or if it is legal needs to be changed. You've never had any either? A feeling that they don't bother to use cheese curds in the United States? Probably not. There's actually I've had a lot of poutine that doesn't use cheese curds. That's actually pretty good, but it's not the same, but it's still good. If you visit Kansas, be wary of tornadoes. They may take you to Oz. It'll be my second time there. I'm sure I'll be fine. Love to go to Canada. You watch so many YouTubers. Yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of goofy, and we all have the same. There's like this. You can always tell when like a YouTuber or a streamer or like somebody is. You can tell they're Canadian because there's like every so often they'll make a joke and you're just like, that's a Canadian. I know. It's, that's a Canadian. Canadians make that joke. That's game recognizes game. Once in a while I hear somebody, I'm like, they're Canadian. And it's not like the cadence. It's not the accent. Once in a while it comes out, depending on where you're at. But once in a while I just hear a joke and I'm like, are you Canadian? Find out 20 minutes later they live down the road. All right, so this is Accursed Farms, and he's talking about what's going on with the campaign. So he's been doing live streams with big updates, but I'm just going to show you the shorter one that he posted.
All right. These are announcements on the campaign. This hopefully won't be too long. I keep thinking each month I won't have to do this in addition, but too many things keep coming up. So the first announcement, I'm going to have this up on YouTube on Sunday. If you're in Australia, you have one more day to sign the petition. I'll have a link to it on YouTube. Then we have a lot of waiting, as I understand it. So, yeah, 1 day left for Australia. So that gets priority. Second, I've been contacted by a lot of people on this. If you submitted a complaint to the DGCCRF,
Sorry, real quick. This is from a few days ago. So if you are in Australia and wanted to sign the petition, this is from 2 days ago. I think you're out of time, and I'm sorry for that.
on the crew especially, and then you got a response back from Ubisoft saying, yeah, we shut the game down. And then there's a notice saying like, oh, is this response satisfactory? Just click no. I think what's happening is if you chose to share the information with Ubisoft, then you get that message. If you didn't choose to share that, I think you don't get that message. Either way, I think it doesn't matter because the complaint is being processed in parallel by the DGCCRF. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. Anything Ubisoft is going to say is going to be useless anyway. So that's just to show that you're trying to resolve it through the company, which again, it's pointless, but it's part of the procedure. So
You have to show usually if you're doing anything through litigation, you have to show that you attempted to resolve the issue. If so, in this case, a game is being shut down, and you bought the game and you don't want the game to be shut down, and Ubisoft is telling you to go fuck yourself. You saying, "Hey, I don't want my game shut down" to Ubisoft, and Ubisoft being like, "Too bad," is you showing that you attempted to resolve the situation and that you're not accepting the like there is no negotiation, there is no resolution that's actually being reached.
uh, more announcements. This one's gonna be odd because I don't know how much I can say on this yet, but there will be a big announcement on the status of things in the European Union on, I believe, the 27th, I think the last Monday of this month. And I don't know if it's going to be positive or negative, but we are going to get big answers, is my understanding. I'm coordinating this with European Member of Parliament, actually. So the way I explained this to my wife was this would be like in a video game. If there's like a shortcut you can take to get straight to the final boss and miss 90% of the game, that's kind of what we've done here for the European Union. So I don't know if I can say more than that at this point, but just check back then. I will have some sort of video out then.
So that's interesting. He's actually talking to he seems like he's bypassed, or he's basically gotten player 3 has entered the game. So nice, good to hear. At least clearly they're getting attention of some kind. Whether or not it's going to be enough attention is yet to be seen, but the more we talk about it, the more shit can happen. So keep talking about it. If you're interested in this, please go and yeah, Ready Player One. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's great to hear. I'm glad they're making progress. The fact that they're able to make any process is fantastic. This is going to be one. Maybe I'm wrong about this. This is just my thoughts on the matter. I don't think any changes are going to happen through America. I think what will happen is the changes will happen everywhere else. And so the companies that produce in America are going to have to follow those regulations regardless. I think that's what's going to happen. Because if they don't, they lose the market, right? Look at what happened with Helldivers, for example. The Helldivers and PlayStation Network. It did not go well for PlayStation Network. And, because they weren't clear and upfront. If they had been clear and upfront, people probably would have cared less. You know what I mean? There would have been less of an issue. But because that wasn't the case, people cared.
And yeah, actually, the politician was hoping to get this is
hello.
Nicholas Ninas.
It's me.
I'm here to cause problems. Thank you very much for the follow. Greatly appreciated.
He was hoping to get like a bunch of streamers and games media or news media to cover this also. I'm trying to explain to him, I don't know if I have that kind of pull, but usually all the biggest publicity I've gotten is I make a video explaining something and then somebody else bigger picks it up or a news agency picks it up. So it may not work how he wants, but we will get exposure. So
I'm a very small creator. I have sent an email to Accursed Farms, so we'll see if he gets back to me or not. I don't know. I haven't actually checked my email in a couple of days, so maybe there might be something there now that the weekend's over. But I was sick, so I'm still sick, and I haven't checked yet. But I don't know, cause he's busy, man, trying to get all this done. But maybe Landon will have something to say about it, or be able to chat with him a little bit about it, or maybe get him in touch a little bit about it, because Landon was in politics once upon a time, and he is a big smart man. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get him on.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the UK, there's some news. It turns out the response from the UK petition was so bad, the petitions committee has stepped in and they're asking government again to give us a new response because chunks of that response didn't even address what we were talking about. Or they were answering a question
So the UK government did a response, and he went through that. We talked about that last time we were talking about this, and the response didn't really like. Some of the response made sense, some of it didn't make sense. Sometimes there was wiggle room, so it looks like they're going back to the UK government and being like, "This doesn't really address what we talked about. Can you look at this again?"
Question we weren't even asking. So fingers crossed, we can get more of a real response. Though I'm not holding my breath on that. However, I think they gave us some ammunition in the first response. And on that note, we're still trying to figure out how to proceed. However, our working theory, it's looking likely we are going to be able to file complaints in the UK after all. But we're still trying to verify things the best we can. And trying to verify things the best we can. But our working plan right now is, it looks like this could easily change, but our best interpretation right now, based off feedback from the last video, is you will be able to file a complaint to the CMA in the UK. I forget what it stands for. They have a form for that. However, it'll probably only be for like late buyers, where if you bought the game and then it shut down within 3 years, then you can probably file a complaint. But that'll be any game, any online only game, so not just the Crew. So yeah, if you want to help with that.
Okay, that's interesting. That's just the current UK government, just a load of lies and bullshit. Oh yeah, competition and market authority. Yeah, no, RNGD, you're right. It's one of those things where talking about this and trying to understand the legality is a slog, right? And I get it, and it feels like a slog, and it's like, oh, this isn't funny, this isn't entertaining. Like, no, it's not. But if you want the games that you like and you want the entertainment that you enjoy, you gotta take the good, you take the bad, and there you have the facts of life. You know what I mean? And it's like, you gotta do something. If you don't try to do something, you're never gonna get anywhere. And so, I mean, at least the dude is trying. I'll give him that much. At least he is making an effort. Like, at least there's something. You know what I mean? At least something. Hey, welcome, Exploratory Minds. You have a good nap? I hope you enjoyed your nap. We're talking about the UK gaming legal changes. So yeah, he was just saying that if you, so the game has to have been shut down within 3 years, not beyond 3 years. So if you bought the game and it shut down within 3 years, but if it was 5, it's too long by the sounds of it. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. It sounds like he's not 100% sure either. They're trying to suss it out. So make complaints. Call your local office. Free market.
Find out what all the biggest game shutdowns were in the past 3 years. Yeah, maybe you can email me on that, rosswscott@gmail.com. And we'll try to, form guides on like the top 10 or something like that. And then explain the general process for any others we don't get. So this is,
trying to figure out how to
we're going to have
coordinate
to
it.
structure this guide because this will have to be a very kind of targeted complaint saying, hey, they never told me how long the game was going to last until a couple months before a shutdown. So when I bought this, I was uninformed, basically. Again, we kind of have to do a little.
You have to do a little bit of scripting. Like, I'm gonna call it scripting. It's like you want to make sure that, like, if you want the government and the law to pay attention to you, you have to say things in a very particular way that uses specific language so that way they understand what you're saying. Because otherwise it's just like a regular customer complaint, and that's not really a legal issue, right? That's not really a problem. You had a weird dream? Oh, that's fun.
Dance to make this work in the UK, but that's the plan right now. And if you think that's all wrong, you can email me also because we're still trying to figure it out. That's honestly been one of the hardest parts is figure out how to report this and who qualifies. But yeah, if you owned a game that shut down in the past 3 years from when you bought it, it sounds like you qualify. It could be more people qualify, but we're not sure. But yeah, we're in contact. Was it Competition and Markets Authority or something like that? The CMA is.
Yeah, that's what RNGD just said. Competition and Markets Authority.
That's our leading plan for this. So we're not going to put up the guides until we're pretty sure, but yeah, stay tuned for that in like the next week or two, I think. But yeah, we'll see what the revised petition says. Though again, I'm not holding my breath. And like, oh yeah, I'm noticing there were a whole lot of comments where I guess people like missed parts of the video where I was saying that, you know, I'm not expecting a world of difference if we reach 100K, but what might happen is more things emerge that we weren't expecting, kind of like what happened with 10K. So then other people reach out, or you know, this makes news, and then somebody sees that news and then they reach out to the campaign of something else we can do, because that's pretty much exactly what happened with the 10K. So it's kind of a different milestone. I'm not resting all my hopes on changing the law in the UK because the petition reads 100K. So some people were confused about that. Look, I'm prepared for everything to go down in flames in the UK. That's why we're also doing things in the European Union and Australia and even outside of the EU. Well, not outside, but within the EU in Germany and France. So
The art of war. You attack on all fronts when capable, as long as you don't spread your own resources too thin. His resources are his knowledge, or that's the knowledge is power thing. So what he's trying to do is accumulate knowledge and accumulate signatures to attack everywhere at once. The Canadian petition, by the way, shot through the roof. It's long since hit its goal, its minimum goal, so it's going to be seen. So we'll see what happens with that as well.
I did this campaign expecting not everything would work. So, but hopefully with enough different avenues, things will work. And I think that's all I have for the campaign announcements. So I'm going to stop that and just do the regular chats.
I love. He stopped the recording and then just uploaded that and then continued with his stream. Very funny. Very funny, haha. I like that man. He is a funny dude. What just came on? What is this? Get out of here. What is this? Get out of here. Oh, this is the Clarith thing. God, this is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. The drama. The drama. Alright, well, we're gonna watch this one instead because this one sounds funny.
There are a lot.
So this is a but before we start this, I'm gonna take a quick break because we've been live for 2 hours, so I'm gonna take a quick break. For anybody who is new and doesn't really understand what I had said to Erin before Erin made her response video, this is the video that she's responding to. So I'm gonna put that on. Hi, Puck. Boop. High five. Nope. He was having, we had fireworks this weekend because it was Victoria Day, which is a holiday in Canada. It's one of the reasons why I took Monday off. So he was wearing his little earmuffies. And so he went to hide in the closet, and then I put his earmuffies on, and then he chased me into the bathroom. Came to find me. Uh-oh. Oh. And then he wore them, basically. He had them on and then just fell asleep. So they worked really great for him. So thank you for sending me these. For Puck. If you do want to send Puck anything, there is an Amazon wishlist for him. There's also an Amazon wishlist for me if you're interested. Then I can get a pair. I don't think they'll fit on my head. I'm not even gonna try. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in a few minutes, and I will see you momentarily.
talking to each other, trying to like sneak around the court orders. Erin, you have already done, you have already like spread the shit around so much. You were in Chesh's DMs uninvited, sharing information, and now you're doing the same with other people. on Twitter who are still.
I am going to elaborate on this because this was months ago. This was back in September. Cheshire was talking an awful lot about things that she did not know about because she was clearly not speaking of things that actually occurred or even were stated to have occurred, things that were accused or claimed, whatever. Everything she was saying was completely wrong. And I had the hard copy in front of me showing what had alleged to have occurred or whatever. So before she became more involved and actually considered doing something crazy, like, I don't know, flying to America for some bullshit reason, I thought she should at least know the truth, the facts. So I let her know that back in like September, one time. So yeah, fuck me, because we can see how, how much, I don't know if she paid attention to that, but that's what I did one time. It's a means, because like as another content creator, like if you're gonna sit up there and stream and everything and put your channel behind certain things or whatever, then I think that if I don't know, if they're known to be bullshit, then you should be made aware. That's what I did. I made her aware. And okay. And now Manya wants to sit here and act like and accuse me of doing this with everyone all over Twitter.
Why? How is her accusation wrong if you did it? You just said you did it. What the fuck?
Fucking Cheshire. Cheshire. Cheshire.
It was November.
Cheshire was talking an awful lot about things that she did not know about because she was clearly not speaking of things that actually occurred or even were stated to have occurred, things that were.
She is referencing the video that I've been playing for you guys on break. The one where she said, Chesh, you don't know anything. Chesh, why do you know so much? So she's back to I didn't know anything. She can't make up her mind.
Accused or claimed, whatever. Everything she was saying was completely wrong. And I had the hard copy in front of me showing what had alleged to have occurred or whatever. So before she became more involved and actually considered doing something crazy, like, I don't know, flying to America for some bullshit reason.
You mean complying with the court requiring me to show up to America at your behest? Oh no. Did Erin just call her reasoning for me having to be there in person bullshit, since it was her and Veda's proposal that everybody had to show up to court in person? That was their argument to the court. It was Erin and Veda's argument to the court that all witnesses had to show up in person. So at that time, wait a minute. So at that time, she had the foresight to suspect that I would show up to court. I mean, it's not impossible. She already had a TRO. So it is possible that she could have suspected that I might be a witness in the future and wanted to try to influence that. Is that what she's saying? That she was trying to influence me before because she thought I could have been a witness in the future? That's a confession. Huh? He's at 52 minutes. For anybody who's looking. Also implying that complying with the court is a crazy thing to do, right? Why would it be? Does she not understand that having sent me stuff, like court documents that she had in front of her would involve me further, not less? It's not like I was walking around pretending these things weren't real. Or they were frivolous. I'm not the one who's been calling all this stuff frivolous. I've been calling it ridiculous that these people have pushed this far, but I'm not calling the court ridiculous. The court couldn't force me, no, but I was willing to comply. Yeah. If I was like, no, absolutely not, they couldn't force me to be there. Or, I mean, I think there are ways, but they'd have to, like, extradite me from Canada, and I don't think it would, that would be weird. That there might be ways to work around that, but that would be such, like, a backwards thing to try to figure out that, like, it's not gonna happen. But hold on, I'm gonna put this back a little bit further.
Of things that actually occurred or even were stated to have occurred, things that were accused or claimed, whatever. Everything she was saying was completely.
Hold on. I just want to clarify real quick. The only thing I think I had stated at this time was Steve wasn't swatted and that there were TROs and ROs around because bullshit. What did I get wrong? And I knew that there were TROs and ROs because Erin said she had to go to a court here. Like, she had to go to court. And the only person she was in court with at the time, and they were all talking about how they all got cease and desists. Like, it's obvious who you're talking about, so I don't think I said anything out of pocket. How dare I be a lawful citizen? How ridiculous.
Wrong. And I had the hard copy in front of me showing what had alleged to have occurred or whatever. So before she became more involved and actually considered doing something crazy, like, I don't know, flying to America for some bullshit reason, I thought she should at least know the truth, the facts. So I let her know that back in the.
So you sent me your paperwork that was supposed to be court sealed. You sent me court sealed paperwork. For a restraining order case. And you're admitting this. So you're just admitting to breaking the TRO. Violating the TRO. So you're admitting to the contempt charges right now. You understand this. Because the thing you're in contempt for is violating the restraining order. So you're just saying that you violated the restraining order in an attempt to dissuade me from showing up to Kansas later as a witness. That's a pretty big confession. I don't. How is this not Erin talking about her case? Yeah, isn't this Erin talking about the case when she stated to not be she stated to not going to talk about the case? Yeah, she said she wasn't going to talk about the case, and here she is talking about the case. What are you doing? What are you doing? Meanwhile, she's like, oh, Manya's baiting me by telling me to shut up. Ugh. No, stop! Please! I implore you! Stop! I'm not gonna wear these. I don't want to right now. We're all begging you to shut the fuck up. Nobody's baiting you. We just want you to stop. We want this to come to an end. Cut it out. I don't like watching your content. I'd rather be doing something else. But I have to.
This guy is unfucking believable.
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole. I'm way less tired today than I thought I was gonna be. This is great. I thought I was gonna be super exhausted. And my voice is still a little bit tired, but it's not too bad. So yeah, this is at basically if you start from 50 minutes. If you start from 50 minutes, this is like okay. Alright, yeah, one of the funny things is because I read that paperwork, right? She sent it to me. I was like, what the fuck is this? And she sent it to me in a Google link. You know, she sent it to me in a Drive link that wasn't a password locked Drive link. Anybody with that link could see what was in there. So it was not exactly secure. So that's not even saying that like anybody could have done that. She's saying everything is Steve's fault. Did Steve tell you to send it to me? I'm curious. Just out of curiosity. Since she said everything is Steve's fault and this is all because of Steve and Steve was telling her what to do, did Steve tell you to send that to me? Maybe you should stop taking Steve's advice. Maybe you should listen to Manya instead. On the other hand, either way, what? It's so much to unpack. Oh, this is such an awkward confession. Oh, brother. How long have I been live for? 4 hours and 50 minutes. Okay. Alright. Note that for later. Somebody remind me later.
But for some bullshit reason, I thought she should at least know the truth, the facts. So I let.
Yeah, about that, cause like I read the paperwork, cause I didn't know what it was. I was like, the fuck is this? Yeah, you want to know one of the things it says? TROs. You're under restricted. There's a protected. This individual is the protected individual. Cease and desist, essentially. The paperwork that she sent me indicated that I was correct.
Let her know that
The unnamed.
back in like September one time.
It was November.
So yeah, fuck me, because we can see how how much I don't know she paid attention to that, but that's what I did one time. It's a mean.
That's what I did. I did this thing. Holy.
Is the unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern? Is unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern, or is it a tavern that's not been named?
Yeah, it takes me. I didn't do my thing. I don't have my thing plugged
Make
in.
it
Like,
go
why
away.
are you black?
Ah!
Stop doing that. Insert Chesh
D-Mix
racist
hates
here.
Thanks for the $2, by the
What
way.
the
Arkin.
fuck? Alright, so.
And thank you for the compliment.
Hey.
Also,
Okay.
Free Hong Kong. Fuck off, Blizzard.
A Hong Kong court Blizzard, like the game company.
Yes, exactly that. Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
banned
Oh,
a guy
God.
from their esports tournament for saying freedom for Hong Kong because it was
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
political
remember
statement,
that
and
one.
also because they sell lots of games in China.
They definitely do. Blizzard just be taking L's left, right, and center. A Hong Kong court convicts 4 people of rioting over the storming of the legislature in the 2019 protests. So I don't think we were doing this show at the time, but I'm pretty sure all of us kind of
No.
talked about and mentioned the and have mentioned in the past on this show the protests that were happening in Hong Kong in
Yeah.
2019.
Yep.
So it turns out the court convicted 4 people. Imagine that. You know that thing that the Trumpers like to complain about, to be like, hey, the January 6th people are being unfairly, oh, you got another glass of that?
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna get
Nice.
another glass of lime margarita because
Do it.
I don't know. I guess Klingon
drinking
Horve
liquid death, by
Kaj
the way.
Hoch, which of course is Klingon for everyone wants me to start speaking Klingon. Actually, no, that would be
But yes,
Klingon Horve Choch.
So So, as much as the January 6th people like to complain that, hey, their people are being unfairly treated by the government and unfairly held in captivity, as in that's like a thing that Trump is starting his rallies with. In actual real life, where that's actually maybe really happening, Hong Kong court convicts 4 people for rioting over the storming of the legislature in 2019. Hey, if you want a real conspiracy, go find one. They're all over the place. A Hong Kong court convicted 4 people Thursday for rioting over the storming of the city's legislative council building at the height of the anti-government protests more than 4 years ago. The break-in on July 1st in 2019, the 22nd anniversary, don't give a shit. Hundreds of protesters swarmed into the legislature that night, defacing pictures and smashing furniture. Some spray-painted slogans in the chamber and painted over the territory's emblem on a wall before vacating the site, as riot police cleared surrounding streets with tear gas and then moved inside. The legislature eventually spent about 36 million Hong Kong dollars, or $4.6 million American, on repairing the damages. Oh no. People over property, obligatory insert here. 6 defendants included Gregory Wong. The guy's name is Gregory? Are you serious?
Look, Hong Kong has a long history of having been owned by the British, so there's a lot of weird British stuff going on.
To be fair, I did skip over the British colonies' return to China. It was one of the. I did skip over it.
Interesting.
When I was there, it was right before the switchover, as far as I remember. No, it was right after. But there was like Victoria Street, and like lots of the street names were named after like famous British people, and it was weird. And like you go to the city hall, and it looked like something you would find in Great Britain, except at the top of it was a really good dim sum place where I ate way too much cuttlefish tentacles because they were absolutely delicious. But
Oh my god.
no, I did so many cuttlefish tentacles. Every time the cart came by and there were cuttlefish tentacles, I was like, yes, all of them, right here, right now.
Are they?
Put it on
So
the
I
tab.
assume that different tentacles taste differently, and I've read a lot of like you know what I'm talking about. And so, like, do each tentacles taste differently? Because I feel like that should be a niche thing that I start working on as soon as this stream is over, and make an entire like written out story with pictures about somebody tasting different tentacles and deciding on which one's the best.
Yes.
And maybe
I'm gonna
Funimation
go
will
ahead and say that. Yeah, sure. Each tentacle definitely tasted differently, and you should.
And I can pull on your.
that.
Can I pull off of your expertise in tentacle tasting?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
That
To be
sounds
fair though,
project.
cuttlefish are like very small, and so when I was eating the cuttlefish tentacles, it was a ring of like all the tentacles from the entire cuttlefish all at once, and they were deep fried in this salty batter with like a
Sounds good.
marinade that they had been soaked in, and yeah,
Sounds good. Okay,
but
on
also
Thursday,
there was like pork buns and
Parker.
shumai.
we would rather talk about food than politics. On Thursday, Judge Li Chang-ho, Li Chai-ho,
Yeah, chi.
found
Chi.
for Chi. Is that not what I said? Did I say chai?
You said chai. You said chai, which is
Li
tea.
Chi-ho. That I can barely speak English. Found 4 of the 6 defendants, including Gregory Wong, guilty of rioting. Wong Ka-ho and Ma were acquitted of the rioting charge, but were convicted for unlawful entry into legislature. Lee said in his written judgment that there was directive to ask all people to leave. Quote, I can't see how the defense can distort the meaning of the word and exclude journalists from everyone, he said. He added that it was a wrong idea for Wong Ka-ho to think that reporters can stay there to document the developments. During the trial, Gregory Wong said he was at the scene to deliver chargers to a reporter, but the judge challenged his argument, saying he had hugged a protester before leaving the chamber as an expression of support.
That's not. That's.
Remember where I said that there's actual real conspiracies going on about people, quote unquote, rioting and people protesting against their governments, and we should probably not focus on this idiots of January 6th insurrectionists and should maybe focus on where this is really happening and where a government is actually trying to suppress its people? Sorry, go ahead, Landon, yes?
So as much as it's interesting about these 4 people with conviction, I think with the bigger picture going on here is what the Chinese Communist Party has done to Hong Kong.
Yes.
The last link I put in there, and this relates back to this conviction because part of how they're being convicted now, right? If you look at that last link I put in our private chat, Hong Kong has passed a new national security bill that was passed unanimously by all the shills of the Chinese Communist Party, and it has fairly wide-ranging draconian things. It jailed people who damage public infrastructure, like these folks, as well as endanger national security for at least 20 years or life. And so the 2019 protesters are being convicted under this new law, right? So one of the things that China likes to do is pass laws after the fact and apply it to people there.
Oh.
Wow.
That's
Another
a problem.
thing as well is that the bill covers actually a wider range of offenses, including, for example, bans on external interference or significantly hardened positions. For example, that if they view that if you have a document, you're from Hong Kong, and you put it on the web, and it's deemed to be particularly sensitive, not even classified, you can be convicted in this law. Also understand that this Hong Kong law applies to you, right? It is not limited to the territory of Hong Kong. The fact that we are having this discussion, is certainly deemed to be offensive and against the interests of the Chinese Communist Party. If you transit in the Hong Kong airport, and you have been deemed to be somebody who has run offense of this law, even if you're not a Chinese citizen, you can be arrested and detained. And people are being arrested and detained. So let's say you're flying from Mumbai, India to Tokyo, and you have a stopover in Hong Kong. Not even exit the thing, but stopover and transit, right?
I was about to ask that question.
Facial identity. They use facial identity and other things to determine who you are, and they then can arrest you if you've run afoul of this law.
Remind me,
and being. Go ahead.
Remind me next time I'm planning to travel to India via Hong Kong. I will not shave my beard for 3 months before that travel.
and so
or just travel through Japan, maybe.
I mean, and understand that for example, you can be convicted of this law if for example you have posted something which is considered to be antithetical to the Chinese Communist Party. You can be.
Well, I'm screwed.
You can be.
We're fucked.
Yes. And it applies also to journalists as well as citizens. If you were to take a document, for example, somebody was arrested, supposedly, of taking a document and having, they talked about air pollution in China. Now that's a publicly available thing, but it was deemed to be offensive to the Chinese Communist Party, and the person could be subject to arrest. So
what you're telling me is reality is offensive to the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, and this is a big problem of there. I mean, in that culture, face is very important. But I'll have to say that the Chinese Communist Party is more than lost face. They have no face, right? The fact that Chinese Communist Party is pushing the cult of President Xi, otherwise known as Emperor Winnie the Pooh, the fact that they have
Get over that.
done a lot of destruction to Chinese culture, the fact that they have taken their 9-dash line and said this big chunk of international waters is ours because someone said so. The fact that they have decided that the sovereign nation of Taiwan is somehow theirs, to me is something that they've lost faith over entirely, right?
Hey guys, write in
you don't need
Dapper
to go-
Dinosaur 2024. I will recognize Taiwan as a nation. Fuck China. Well, fuck the Chinese
Yes.
Communist Party.
Well, no,
Yeah.
now the other thing, by the way, that the Chinese Communist Party does, and they'll probably do here, is they'll say that my statements are somehow racist, right? The fact that I am
Oh, okay.
criticizing and condemning the Chinese Communist Party is somehow racist, and that's how low they have to sink. The fact that the Chinese Communist Party reveres Mao Zedong, a bloodthirsty murderer, tells you something about their lack of faith. Right?
So
down
just-
the Chinese Communist Party, support people who are being oppressed in an area, and do not travel into Taiwan, do not go to China. Period. End of story.
So just to be clear, just because of this show, we're all fucked. Not just the people on the show.
What can I say? You're welcome. What can I
You
say? You're
watching,
welcome.
if they find out you watched the show and commented, don't fucking go to China. You might accidentally put yourself in danger.
Not even transit through, right?
Don't take a layover in China. Don't involve yourself in China. Don't do China. This isn't a joke, as funny as I am normally. Don't do China. Don't do it.
Remember that time that Great Britain signed an agreement with the government of China to return Hong Kong, except it was a different government than the current government in mainland China. And the government they actually signed the agreement with was in Taiwan. They should have handed Hong Kong over to Taiwan.
Yeah. Oh my God! Can we hand Taiwan over to Hong Kong? Can we do that? Is that something we can do? I mean, hand Hong Kong over to Taiwan. There we go. I said it backwards.
No. Could the international community do it? Probably.
Why is it?
But then they would lose access to all that cheap Chinese steel and whatnot.
Oh, my iPhone will be more expensive if they mark it up on top of what they've already marked it up from.
Might actually be unavailable.
Oh no!
So they have a broad.
Wait! Landon, wait. Manya's gotta go.
And then you're a little quiet. I don't know why.
Sorry, Landon. It's chaotic. And
all right, go ahead, please. Please go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I'll turn her up a little.
Why is it that when there's like talk about like sharing or returning regions, or something like that, it's always the fucking British.
Everything's Britain. It was all Britain the whole time.
They were the ones who did the most. Like, I'm going to conquer this, but it's okay because I signed a contract with the government that I conquered it from. That's
we got Landon.
They did the most of that.
So again, the law, and these people have been convicted under that law or sentenced under that law. They define external interference as something which is punishable under this law. They define, for example, something like, and so what we're talking about, criticizing the Chinese Communist Party, is external interference that we could become guilty of it. They also talk about the notion.
Actually, I have a question.
Go ahead.
This might clarify something for me. America has a rule of sorts. I don't want to say it's a law because my understanding of this is vague. So I'm going to be a little bit vague in my question. So my question might be malformed. So please correct me. There's a rule in America about foreign influence in American politics. So what does that mean if there's a Canadian commenting or a New Zealander commenting, like commentators online that are international or internationally available, if they're disparaging or talking about who is good to vote for and who isn't good to vote for in American elections, and how that applies?
I'm so
or if it applies.
I don't understand.
I don't
So
understand.
America's like no foreign anybody's allowed to fuck around with our election. But if I'm being Canadian, make content about what's going on in Canadian political parties, and the majority of my followers or the people who are subscribed to me are American. Is that me, a Canadian who's an outsider, influencing American policies or American voters? And in that case, does that count as interference?
My understanding is if you're not like actually buying like ad space on American media and you're not like actively trying to
So
I'm
allowed to be convincing, but I'm not allowed to bribe people.
That is my understanding. However, I am not a lawyer.
There
is consult a lawyer.
Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. That, among other things, would say that you're not, that kind of interference, corruption is there. But that's a little different thing. In the United States, external influence in political elections is unfortunately common, becoming much more common.
Well, that's why Facebook was pulled in, like, to have a conversation with Congress, wasn't it? It's why they were getting interviewed.
Yeah, if you look at what Vladimir Putin is trying to do within the United States, he's not pro-Trump, he's not pro-Biden, he is anti-U.S. and is trying to foment dissent. The same thing is doing in Canada.
What's the difference between anti-U.S. and pro-Trump? I don't get it.
and in Canada, they're finding groups that have some complaints and pouring fuel on that to try to destabilize and agitate.
I mean, I also understand, and Q makes a good point in the chat and says the law is more directed at financial blackmail and extortion, etc. That type of influence, not just I'm convincing.
Yeah. So
as an individual, sure.
Again, the China Party has done something where they had this broad definition of state secrets, right? The normal, you would say, well, what if you essentially protecting state secrets, say, what does that mean? We're not talking about some secret military document. It means something as simple as documents that cover economic, social, and technological developments in China. An example is if you were to publish documents describing the collapse of Evergrande, the real estate Ponzi scheme in China, and you publish data about that even though that data is public, you can be convicted of the broad definition of state secrets. And it is really, and it is to me, it's a mark of the lack of even face. It is a mark of shame in the Chinese Communist Party that they have to do this. And by the way, the Hong Kong legislature passed it unanimously and clapped and had a whole bunch of things there because there are now a bunch of Chinese Communist Party shills.
So here's what I'm getting.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead first, and then I'm going to.
Here's what I'm getting.
Jump us over.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is literally a documentary about China.
Wow.
If you don't get that, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hello, welcome back. I hope you had a good break. We have done a heckin' return. I need to make sure I put everything back where it's supposed to be. Turn that off. Open this one. Reset it. Do that. Turn that off. There we go, hi. I saw some bots trying to sneak their way in while I was away. But I did manage to not just cook all my food, but eat it too. Wow. Alright. So, if you care to join us on the tavern, that happens on YouTube the last Sunday of the month. So that'll be Saturday. So that'll be this Saturday coming up. If you are not in the Western Hemisphere, it will be Sunday for you. So if you're interested in that, please join us. Okay. So this was, I saw this video on Twitter, somebody was sharing it around, and it's titled, Jordan Peterson Destroys Atheism in 1 Minute, and I thought this was going to be really funny. This is from a channel called Apologetics Roadshow. It has 223,000 subscribers. So I figured I'd there's no good argument for atheism with Jordan Peterson. I'm sure we'll talk about that someday, but we're just gonna look at this clip where this guy decides to have a conversation with us about it. So let's take a look, shall we?
There are a lot of powerful arguments for atheism. For instance, there's the argument from... No, that's garbage. Well, atheists have an argument called... Gosh, that's even worse. No, that's just sad.
Oh, he's gonna be one of those types of people who can't even acknowledge whether or not an argument can or has been made, whether or not they actually agree with it. So here's this thing, right? You can acknowledge that somebody has an argument, or an argument that might be on its own a little bit convincing, or like maybe a little bit correct, without assuming the position, right? You don't have to, just because somebody said something that sounds convincing, change your entire outlook on life. That's not how it works. But to me, I find it telling when somebody is not even capable... Thank you so much, Rory. When somebody is not even capable of acknowledging when somebody else has a point or has an argument. So, and he's not, like, dismissing which arguments he's talking about. So, for full disclosure, I do identify as an atheist. I don't think God exists. Or at least I don't believe God exists. We can talk about my reasoning at some point, maybe, but for now, we'll just dive into this and see what this guy has to say. I mean, I feel like when you're relying on Jordan Peterson, you're in trouble. So it's unfortunate. I don't think it's very honest. I don't think this is an honest way to start a video. But hey, it's apologetics. What did you expect? Reasonable discourse? Get the fuck out of here. None of that here.
You know, I simply can't think of any good arguments for atheism. But fortunately for us, someone who's way smarter than I am.
That would just be an argument from ignorance, which is a fallacy. If you don't know what fallacies are, let me know, and we can kind of dive into which fallacies are what at some point.
Is on the case. Here's Dr. Jordan Peterson discussing arguments for atheism on Pints with Aquinas.
Oh my god, he's wearing the same suit! He's wearing that suit again! Son of a bitch! Is this like his favorite I'm talking about religion suit? Oh no. Oh, it's the same one! So, last time we were talking about Jordan Peterson... hold on. Somebody grabbed, I think it was Winding, got, let me see if I can find it. Where was it? For science. Where is it? I don't know. She got close-up screenshots of his suit so we could figure out what it is. We didn't figure out what it was. We failed. I still don't know what it's supposed to be, but I can't believe he's wearing the same fucking suit. That's very funny.
What do you think the best argument for atheism is?
This is kind of funny.
I don't think there is a good argument for atheism.
Okay. Again, we're back onto the, of course. We're back. This whole video is essentially just going to be, I don't agree with it, therefore it's not a good argument. That's not... Peterson, you freak. I know, right? It's... Not agreeing with an argument does not denote whether or not an argument is good or bad. An argument being convincing can, but whether or not you end up agreeing with it doesn't really mean... So, like, let's take, for example, Kent Hovind, right? So Kent Hovind has been presented with large amount of evidence and a large amount of argumentation as to why he's wrong about a lot of things. But he will never accept those answers. does that mean that the arguments and the evidence he's been shown aren't good evidence or good arguments because he refuses to accept them? No, of course not. That's not how it works. Same thing with when it comes to this kind of apologetics. If you can't even acknowledge that your opponent has a point somewhere, particularly when most people who are in apologetics who are maybe a little bit more credible in engaging in that conversation are willing to do so. Like, even William Lane Craig will acknowledge that, hey, the problem of evil is a problem. And have we solved it, or have we solved it in its entirety? Well, maybe not, or maybe in this way or that way, but it still is something to contend with. So when your leaders in those fields are able to acknowledge those things and then you just pretend they don't exist because they don't change your mind, that's not how that works. Am I speaking too loud? I kind of feel like I'm speaking too loudly. I'm sorry. Have I been loud this whole time? That's my bad. Hold on, let me just do that real quick. I need to lower my volume. There we go. Is that better? I just fucking feel like I'm shouting, and like, why? I don't need to shout. I can just talk like a regular human being. Peterson is not even one-dimensional thinking. He's actually 0.1 fractional and very stagnant. Like, he's lost any ability to learn new things outside of his own bubble. So, when I talk about my 4 dimensions of thinking, which is technically, it's 5 dimensions, but it goes up to 4. 0, you could theoretically, I guess, put like a 0.1, and you could, or sorry, a 0.5. So there'd be 0, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And it would be like you're just running a script. But I would put that 0. I would put 0 if you're just, like, if you're doing a Jordan Peterson or a Kent Hovind or a Ken Ham, where you're just, you have a flat earther, you're just running the script of whatever you say every time, like, you don't, and like, getting somebody like that off of a script is usually, well, more or less impressive depending on who it is, but it's usually your first goal in those circumstances is to get the person off script. If anybody wants to see like a good example of this, is go see if you can find Dapper Dino talking to Kent Hovind. It's very good. It's a very good one. All right, now that I'm not yelling anymore, is my volume okay? Is this fine? My voice has been really tired the last couple of days too. That's one of the reasons why I didn't talk yesterday. It seems to be feeling better, but I just realized I was shouting, and like, I don't need to shout. Okay, let's go then.
See, now that's what I thought. Maybe I'm more smarter than I always thunk I was.
Not if you're using Peterson as your basis, but you might be smarter than Peterson is, but I wouldn't use him as a cue if I were you. It's kind of embarrassing.
There is no good argument for atheism.
I don't think there is a good argument for atheism. I think it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding about...
Sorry, just to be clear. Jordan Peterson didn't say there is no. He said, I don't think there is. And the only reason I'm picking on this is because Jordan Peterson is very particular in the way he speaks, in that he usually does not... He tries to use very slippery language on purpose, so he never is actually saying anything entirely that he has to commit to. Hello, Athens. I see you now. I'm sorry, you were having trouble with the chat. You are back. Welcome back. Jordan Peterson uses a lot of slippery language, so he doesn't have to commit to anything. So it is unlikely that I do not foresee any near future, maybe eventually if he gets old enough and set enough in his Daily Wire seat, that if he gets cushy enough, he'll start making definitive statements. But for the most part, he avoids making definitive statements. 100 levels of thinking. You don't think you what thinking is. I don't think you what I should play that. God, I kind of want to talk about that video again just because it's so funny. Alright, sorry, I'll let Jordan Peterson say what he was going to say. I would just be tempted, I would caution anybody who is going to purport to follow Jordan Peterson and use him as a cue for knowing whether or not you're smart, is you might actually want to understand what he's saying and why he's saying it before you pontificate about it.
I was. There is no good argument for atheism.
I don't think there is a good argument for atheism. I think it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of the world. So it's just, it's what would you say? It's an illegal chess move.
Huh? It's a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of the universe. Well, that's the position of atheism, not the arguments for atheism. That doesn't answer the question, Jordan. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, Jordan Peterson is not actually answering the question. Right? I mean, he answered in the first half. He doesn't think that there are any good arguments, but he's not addressing the arguments. He goes on to not talk about the arguments. He's talking about the position of atheism itself, not its arguments. But illegal chess move. Now he's going to do his Jordan Peterson thing, where he doesn't really answer the question, goes off on a tangent, finds a weird analogy, gets lost in this analogy to go on to another tangent, like he does every single time. A microcosm of the cycle of Jordan Peterson conversations.
Okay. It's what would you say? It's an illegal chess move.
It's an illegal chess move. What, you thought you could just take the king out of the game because you're an atheist and you don't know how to mate? But there's a problem with Dr. Peterson's response.
The pause for the laugh. Very funny.
The question wasn't, are there any good arguments for atheism? Of course there aren't. The question was, what's the best argument for atheism? Even if all the arguments for a terrible, absurd position are bad arguments, you can still point to the best of the bad arguments. So, what's the best of the bad arguments for atheism?
This might just show that I don't understand you, but we'll get to it if I don't.
The best argument for atheism. What's
the best of the worst arguments?
Materialistic determinism is the best argument for atheism.
But isn't that a philosophical sort of assumption or axiom?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
The best.
Oh no.
Of the bad arguments for atheism, according to Jordan Peterson, is materialistic determinism. I'm not sure what he means by materialistic determinism. That would normally be the view that what happens in the material world is determined by matter and the laws of nature. That wouldn't mean that God doesn't exist. You can be a materialistic determinist about our universe and still believe that God exists. So I'll assume that he just means materialism. Materialism, in this sense, is the position that the material world is the fundamental reality.
So there is one thing that is tricky when it comes to dealing with Jordan Peterson. You can't just be like, I'm going to take him at like, I'm going to steelman Jordan Peterson. You can't steelman Jordan Peterson. As soon as you say, well, I'm going to assume that he means this instead of this, he'll be like, no, I meant exactly what I meant. And what he means is nothing because it's Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson doesn't mean anything.
Everything that happens can ultimately be explained in terms of matter in motion. Now, if the material world is all there is, there obviously can't be an immaterial deity. So if we assume that materialism is true, then God doesn't exist. But as Matt pointed out, that's an assumption.
But isn't that
it's a philosophical position, not an not an argument. Like the argument would be like, so he's correct about his description of materialism is good enough. Why you think or why you believe that materialism is true would be the argument, right? So the assumption being like, oh well, in this case, then you have to assume X, Y, and Z. Why would you assume that? The why is the argument, right? So you can have an assumption, but when you have to be able to explain your assumption. Assumptions are everywhere. They're not wrong. They're not bad. They can be misused, but you have to make some assumptions. This is why on this channel we never go full solipsism. Never go full solipsism. We will never go there. We will always assume that you exist, and we will always assume that you are not a brain inside of a vat. Because as soon as you go full solipsism, there's no point in having the conversation anymore. So, Jordan Peterson is saying that he thinks that this is the best position to take, which would be material determinism, which doesn't answer the question, doesn't even touch on the question, and isn't even an argument in the first place. Like, he's not addressing or bringing up an argument. Why you're a materialistic determinist, or why you're follow materialism or believe materialism is true, that would be the argument. But I am tentative in attempting to steelman Jordan Peterson by fiat anything that he says, because he is very, very, like I said, he's very particular in his language. He tries and works very, very hard to sound smart while saying literally nothing. He's not answering the question. And it's best to just take him out at face value, in my opinion.
Philosophical sort of assumption or axiom?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
If you assume at the beginning that the material world is all that exists, and you conclude that God can't exist because you've already assumed that the material world is all that exists, that's begging the question.
Correct. That wouldn't be a good, that just making an assumption is not good argumentation. In fact, it's not an argument, it's just making an assumption. So trying to pretend like it is the argument, and therefore atheism is not convincing or doesn't have any good arguments, is straw manning, which is a fallacy, the same way as begging the question is. Go figure. Weird. So we'll see what he says. I'm jumping the gun, though. Maybe he'll explain that.
So, the best argument for atheism would be a fallacy. But our materialistic determinist friends can find comfort in the fact that, according to their worldview, if their reasoning is fallacious, they were determined to reason fallaciously. So, atheists, it's not your fault. The universe made you like this.
Well, that implies intention to the universe, of which an atheist would not believe that there's necessarily intentionality there, but that besides the point. If you wanted to flip that, you would say, well, then your God made me this way, so we get nowhere, and your God's just a dick? Congratulations for being condescending about your straw man? But, looks like I was correct. Winding Land, you're not going to believe this. We pulled up a video where this guy is explaining that Jordan Peterson has just destroyed atheism, and he's wearing the same suit. He's wearing the same suit. Hello, welcome, Godmom. So, alright. Where was I? Fallacious, atheism, determinism. Oh, we're having a conversation Thursday. I will show you. Hold on, I will show you. Let me pull this up. I've got a theologist and a philosopher coming on to YouTube soon for a live stream where we're going to talk about free will. So if you do want to talk about determinism and what is free will and such, that is going to be tomorrow. I've got Dave and Fuzzrana coming on. So please join us for that. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in conversations about determinism and free will and atheism and theology and philosophy, and you're interested in that, please come and join us for that. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. I know the show is called Debate Hub. It is not Debate Me Bro. I promise it is not Debate Me Bro. It is two people who have different positions and different nuances and agree on some things and disagree on other things are going to come together and they're going to have a discussion-style debate. So if you're interested, please come and check that out on the YouTube channel, and you can go and hit the bell and subscribe over there. That is happening tomorrow. I think I might have said yesterday it was happening tomorrow, but I got my days confused because I thought, I don't know. I don't know what day it is anymore. Anyway, it says it's live in 31 hours. So join us for that. It's gonna be a good time. I'm sure it will be interesting, and it might even fly over your head, and it might fly over my head. So we'll find out, I guess. So if you're interested in that, okay, let's let this guy keep going. Are you done condescending to your straw man yet?
But suppose what we really mean when we ask, what's the best argument for atheism, is what's the most effective argument for atheism? What's the most effective argument for atheism?
So yeah, we're back to like these terms that you need to predefine. So like best is a loose term. What does it mean by best? So like if you say what's the best bird? Well, best at what? Best at speed, best at hunting, best at survivability, best at like in what existing in the biggest largest variety, the most intelligence based on what? Like best is not a good term. Effective, it has the same kind of problem. I think what he's probably going to ask is what is the most convincing argument from atheism? I'm pretty sure that's the question that's actually being asked, but are we finding out who cancels who, fellow woke moralists? Atheism is currently getting canceled by Dr. Jordan Peterson, who may or may not be losing his license soon. Ha 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 tee. Very funny.
Here, the answer isn't really an argument. It's not a fallacy. It's a manipulation tactic. Join our group and you're smart. Don't join our group and you're dumb. Atheists smart. Religious people dumb. Us smart. Them dumb. Them.
I don't know if you should be saying that when you're currently in a glass house with that rock you're throwing. You're talking about Jordan Peterson, Mr. Condescending, I need to act smart, and if you don't agree with me, you're stupid. That's like his whole shtick. So it's kind of odd that you're saying no you, which is silly anyway. However, besides that, I have been critical for years now that there are atheist groups, and particularly online atheists, that are really, really bad about this. Like, he's right about this. There are a lot of people who think that just because they don't believe in a god, they're smarter than other people, and all they've really done is they traded one dogma for another dogma, and that's all that's happened. I was critical of the Atheist Alliance, and particularly the Atheist Experience and the Atheist Community of Austin, the ACA, specifically because I didn't think that the ACA had a proper program or a proper thing in place to help people who are coming out of religion sort of deconvert. And they were less concerned about debriefing those people and giving them the tools to make a decision, which is what I think was most important, and were more concerned about getting more people on their side for politics. And I can understand why you want those political changes. I just don't think changing people's minds about God is a good way to get better positions in politics. Like, you don't need to, whether or not you believe in God, it doesn't necessitate your belief about abortion, for example. I know there are a lot of people who vote along religious lines that where their religion will say abortion is wrong, and or their church, I should say, their church will say that the abortion is wrong, therefore they have to vote this specific way to save their religion. But you're going to have a lot easier time, instead of trying to convince them that God doesn't exist, to have a more robust conversation with them about abortions and statistics, and you're having an easier time changing their mind that way and convincing them to be good people than you will trying to be like, nah, your God's not real. And so there were practices in the atheist experience that I think I was hedging toward predatory, and that I very much did not agree with. There's reasons why I was never part of these groups. So, no, I do agree that when it comes to online atheism, haha, I'm atheist, I'm therefore smart, and you believe in God, therefore you dumb, is definitely something that does happen. And that is something that we, at least here, and at least on my channel and the atheists that I interact with, do work very hard to try and have better conversations. Yeah, they're just at one point and laugh at a group and not a conversation one. Yes, exactly.
No smart, we smart, them dumb. If you can convince people that they magically become the champions of some prized virtue, just by joining your group and running around screaming, Sky Daddy, 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 you're going to win a lot of converts. That's why atheism took off in the early 2000s. A bunch of
No, the reason atheism took off was because of the debates that were happening. Back in the day, your Harris, your Christopher Hitchens, Stephen Fry, people were having conversations about things that the church were doing that were problematic and why you did or did not need them. Daniel Dennett, Richard Dawkins was part of that group once upon a time, and Richard Dawkins has since fallen out of favor because people don't like his politics and they don't agree with his politics. Bill Maher was actually popular when he did his what was it called? He did a documentary. I don't remember what it was called. Anyway, there were plenty of people at that time. It wasn't because of online atheism, though. It was because people were willing to have the conversation and people were willing to have those debates and discussions. You'll notice now people aren't really having those debates and discussions anymore. Now it is the haha you're dumb, haha Sky Daddy, haha you're stupid, right? It's got memed. It's not a conversation anymore. When it wasn't a conversation is why it took off. And a lot of people did learn a lot more about like creationism. A lot of people learned about biology and evolution. There was a lot of education around that. And there was a lot of education around rhetorical debate philosophy. And when I say that, I mean people started to learn their fallacies. And so when people started to learn their fallacies, it did kind of usher in a lot more of a... But then it got popularized, and once it got like a little bit more popularized and got popular on YouTube because Debate Me Bros are a thing. Debate Me Bros are a problem regardless of what the topic is. Whether it's atheism, whether it's about politics, whether, I don't know, it's fucking Jordan Peterson talking to Destiny about Nazis, and it's really fucking stupid. It doesn't really matter. It will devolve and degrade the conversation. But here's the thing. His video isn't helping either because he's just building up straw men and burning them in ground and being like, Unga bunga, look at how good I burned my straw man. Yay. He's not having the conversation either. So you're doing the thing you're complaining about, which I think that makes you a hypocrite, if I'm correct. Sky Daddy was a goofy meme for a little while, and it went too far. I can agree with that.
Gullible young people boarded the good ship Cheap Ego Boost on a one-way trip to Fantasyland. But let's invite them to Planet Reality for a moment. Falling for low-level manipulation tactics and the fallacies you'd hear about on day one of a logic class doesn't mean you're smart.
You mean like the straw man you built? I mean, straw mans are pretty basic. They're pretty straight up one of the first ones you're going to learn about, but, you know, somebody doesn't actually address the argument or the question, and they just decide to build up something else and take that down instead. No? Okay. Am I allowed to be smug yet? I don't know. Maybe.
Patting yourself on the back and bragging about being champions of reason and science doesn't make you champions of reason and science.
Correct. Utilizing and engaging and advancing the conversation are things that do that. So, for example, Dapper Dinosaur's channel, where he talks about creationism and he talks about science a lot. There's a lot of science. Trolley Dave talking about philosophy. Surus talking about the variety of topics that Surus talks about, but he engages in the discussion. He tries to advance the conversation. What I'm doing right now is engage. As much as this guy is building strawman and being condescending, I'm trying to engage in the conversation. And I acknowledge some of the criticisms. I agree with some of the criticisms, and I'm trying to be fair in that regard. I'm not just sitting here memeing. But he is, right? There are lots of people who are having those conversations. Are they as popular as Debate Me Bro? Probably not, and they never will be. But that's not because of the people who are like that. That's because of the audience wanting a bloodbath or blood sport more than they actually want to have an intellectual, educated discussion. Popcorn is easier to consume, right? But that's okay. Like, it's fine. That's not a bad thing. It's the bad thing is when those things go too far, and then that starts to be the only thing, and the conversations go away, which is what we're seeing more now. We're seeing less of the actual conversation take place.
Living in an online echo chamber of "we smart, they dumb" gives you absolutely no reason to think that you're smarter than anyone else. Stop boasting for a while. Close your eyes and think deeply, and you'll realize.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I don't think there is a good argument for atheism.
This would have been really great if they actually answered the question. What are the comments? What are the comments? What was that? They told Destiny to pick a religion. Oh, God. All right. Well, maybe we'll come back to Apologetics Roadshow someday, because this was kind of goofy. What's a good argument for atheism? Funny. 99% of the atheist arguments I've ever faced were: 1, I believe in science, which doesn't answer anything, and it's not a mutually exclusive thing. Yeah, I agree. Is this a picture of Mel Gibson? God damn it, internet. It's fucking, why do I look at the YouTube comment section? What a fucking mistake. Atheists stop boasting about this, meanwhile he's boasting. Yeah, well, 2, many Christians do bad things, even though the Bible itself said that will be the case, and that does not prove anything. Oh. Christians do bad things. Okay. 3, you believe in talking snakes and donkeys without realizing applying materialistic logic to something obviously not natural is dumb. That doesn't quite address that one, but okay. My favorite one's horribly misquoting Bible verses by taking them completely out of context and botching their interpretation, with no example. As a former atheist, getting into philosophy changed my mind when I noticed how cheap and weak most of the arguments by the Four Horsemen were. So that's your Christopher Hitchens and your Daniel Dennett and your Sam Harris. How sterile materialism is as an idea. Yeah, but it being sterile doesn't make it bad or incorrect. That's fallacious. Like, just because you want it to be more interesting doesn't mean that it inherently is, although I understand the sentiment. And how my 15-year-old skeptic phase wasn't very rational and logically sound whatsoever. Yeah, when you were 15, how old are you now? Like, you were 15, so your belief system wasn't very well established. It's not like we teach people how to think critically in school, or we don't really teach philosophy in school at all, which is a problem. So by the time you're even getting close to starting to discuss or think about these things, you're at least 20 and 21, and that's assuming you're not like bogged down by like the crazy amount of schoolwork you're doing. So you're probably not even really considering these things too much, or too deeply, or in a way you're very much still figuring it out at 15, very much at the early stages. So I wouldn't expect anybody to have the same belief system and the same belief structure that they did when they were 15. And that's not to discredit 15-year-olds or discredit teenagers. The problem is we don't teach them before they're 15, so why would we expect them to know at 15? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure you'll read this, but you were one of the first sparks in me changing my mind on all of this, David. Thank you. Okay, well, I don't care about that. I mean, yeah, I believe in science that doesn't answer the question, because that's... Why are you an atheist? I believe in science. I mean, okay. Again, it doesn't really quite answer the question. If your question is, why are you an atheist? You're just saying what you do believe in, not why you don't believe in God. Sure. You could say that I don't believe in the supernatural, but that doesn't answer the question either. That doesn't say why. It just says that you don't. right? So you need to have more meat than that. So I agree with that. Many Christians do bad things. That doesn't make any sense either. But these also feel like straw man. Like, who says this? Why don't you believe in God? Christians do bad things. And? So, yeah, that doesn't... I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, that doesn't answer the question. Talk to better atheists, I guess? I don't know what to tell this person. Silly. Very silly. Why is this guy using Saitama as his thing? I love Saitama. Look at him. What do we got? They mocked my son's death. Here's what they didn't understand. What the fuck is this? She thinks child marriage is beautiful. Ew, gross. Scientist reveals the meaning of life after Pierce Morgan asks. Oh god, alright. Is this guy just a meme?
In Surah 3, verse 135 of the Quran, we read,
my power went out yesterday, so I'm wondering
who
if
can
it's...
forgive sins except Allah? Now, if Allah, according to the Quran, is the only one who can truly forgive sins, should a mere prophet claim this ability for himself? In Mark 2, a paralyzed man is brought to Jesus to be healed. Jesus says to the man, "Son, your sins are forgiven." The teachers of the law started wondering, why does this fellow talk like that? He's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone? Exactly what the Quran says. Jesus then heals the man so that everyone would know that he has the authority, even on earth, to forgive sins. So, who forgives sins, Jesus or Allah? Well, only one of them backed up his claim with a miracle.
That's stupid. That's dumb. That's not even good Christian theology. Jesus is Allah, dipshit. Jesus is God in Christian theology. So if Jesus is God, then he would have the power to forgive sins because they're the same person. Or does this guy not believe in the Trinity? What? Huh? This is a meme. Okay. I refuse to accept that this person is actually, serious. This video was dumb. The previous video was dumb. I'm not watching this 2-hour video right now. We'll do this next time. What do we got here? William Lane Craig on evolution. This one's only a minute long. Alright. We'll do this one.
What are some of the major things other than design and morality that the general theory of evolution cannot account for?
Well, I think that its explanatory mechanisms are heretofore inadequate. Random mutation and natural selection operate so slowly that it doesn't seem that this much biological complexity could have evolved on Earth in some 4.8 billion years.
Huh? What? Why? What do you... Why? What makes you think that? So, there is some evolution that happens incredibly quickly. For example, Covfefe. The coronavirus was adapting the flu, for example. So the reason why you get a flu shot every year is essentially why, like, that's evolution. That's what that is. It's every year has changed enough that you need to get a new shot to keep up with it. You can also see within a couple of generations of the lifespan of a bird, or the lifespan of fruit flies are a classic example that gets used a lot for testing. Mice, we do a lot of experimenting on mice. So this is silly. I don't know why he thinks this or where William Lane Craig got this idea. And I also not entirely sure he had me in the first half where he said that it's not adequate to explain, and I'm like, explain what? And he's like, the age of the Earth, apparently. So is the Earth younger and evolution is true, or evolution isn't true because the Earth is too young, even though you agree about the age? Like, what? Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have interrupted him. Let's keep going. This is Frank Turek, by the way. He's terrible.
It doesn't seem that this much biological complexity could have evolved on Earth in some 4.8 billion years.
Oh, okay. So he's just saying he's using the watchmaker, the argument from complexity, the divine engineer. Essentially, it's the same argument. He's just adapting the wording a little bit and making it sound a little fancy.
Indeed, John Barrow and Frank Tipler, in their book, The Anthropic Cosmological Principle, list 10 steps in the course of human evolution, like the origin of photosynthesis, the origin of an inner skeleton, the origin of mitochondria. 10 steps.
The origin of photosynthesis in humans? I think that's a plant thing. I think that's a thing plants do. I'm just a goblin. What do I know? Surely that's not what he means. There's more to it.
10 steps in the course of human evolution, each of which is so improbable that before it would have occurred or evolved, the sun would have ceased to be a main sequence star.
That's not how probability works. That's not how statistics work. I see this one pop up every so often. That is not how statistics works. Statistics operate on, like, the probability or the odds that something will happen, right? So that's what he's talking about. So if you say that, oh, well, what's the likelihood of drawing I like using the deck of cards analogy. So, like, what are the odds? What's the probability that if you draw from a shuffled deck of cards, you get a full house, right? Big. It's a big number. But here's the problem. You drew it. So what are your odds? Your odds are 100. You already have it in your hand. So if we say the odds of life happening on the planet are 1 in 75 to the power of 3,100 billion, right? We have a sample size of 1 where it happened. So your odds are actually 100%. That's how it works. So if you say, hey, listen, you draw, I give you this dice, right? I'm gonna roll the dice, all right? So the odds on this dice are 1 in 20, right? It's a 20-sided dice. Because of course I have D&D dice on my desk. Why wouldn't I? So you got a 1 in 20, right? But let's say this dice has never been rolled before, right? This is a brand new dice out of the package. It's not, but we're going to pretend it is. And I say, and I roll the dice, and I say, on a first roll, what are your odds of getting a 13? Well, it's 100% because I rolled a 13 on the first roll. And we only have the sample size of 1. We only did it 1 time. So it can't be anything else. So what are the odds of rolling a 13 on this dice? 100%. If there's only the number 13 on all of the sides, it literally doesn't matter. You have a sample size of 1. So the odds of life existing on this planet are 100%. How do we know that? Because there's life on the planet. Look at the trees. It's very silly. It's very silly. It's a silly thing to say. It's an example, or it's an argument that is just attempting to take advantage of people not understanding how probability works. Or, like, how it functions. So, video games actually cheat about this, if I were to use a video game analogy. So, if you play a video game and you have a character, and that character has a 25% chance of critting. So like their ability is going to do additional damage, right? Let's say the damage is doubled. It doesn't really matter. You have a 25% chance of critting. Does that mean that every 4 attacks you're going to crit? Because it's 25, 25, 25, 25 for 100? No. No, that's not how it works. It means every single time you start at 0. You start with nothing. It doesn't stack. Video games cheat. Video games cheat by actually, behind the scenes, increasing your crit chance, so that way it will feel that you're critting every about 4 attacks. It'll be somewhere between 4 and 7 attacks you'll get a crit off. That'll feel like 25%. Because 25% feels not really great if you have 25% every single time. Right? So it slowly will stack behind. So every time you don't crit, your crit chance will actually in the background go up a little bit, so that way you will feel like you're critting 25% of the time, which isn't the same. Feeling like you're critting 25% of the time is not the same as having a 25% chance. It's the 50-50-90 rule. Every time there's a 50-50% chance, there's a 90% chance you're going to get it wrong. That's how it works. So if I, like... If I have, like, okay, so let's say, let's call it even and odds on a d6, right? I have a 50-50 chance of getting an even number or an odd number. But every time I roll, it's still 50% chance, right? So if I roll and I get a 2, right? The next one should be an odd, right? If I don't roll it off the table. Hey, it's a 1. Cool. So I got 1 and 1. Cool. Let's roll again. What do we... Ah! I'm rolling a different dice. I threw it. Okay, I got a d8 instead. We're still doing 50-50. This one's a 7. Okay, so we got an odd. All right, so we've got 2 odds and 1 even. So will I get an even this time? No, I got a 3. Okay, cool. What about this time? What do we get this time? It's a 5. Oh, wow. I've got 4 odd numbers and 1 even number. What do we get next time? Oh, it's another 3. Oh, man. Wow, another 1. Oh, that's for a 50-50 chance, I'm sure ending up with a whole lot, because it's 50-50 every single time. It doesn't get more, it doesn't change as I get more odd numbers to get more likely to be an even number. It is 50-50 every single time. So, probability of the universe having life in it is 100%, because we only have a sample size of 1, and life is here. So it doesn't matter how likely it is. The point is that it's here and it exists and it happened, and it's happened 100% of the times, because we've only got 1 universe to look at currently. Could there be more to look at? I don't know, maybe, but for now, this isn't a good argument. Works 100% of the time, 50% of the time.
It would have gone through the entire course of stellar evolution and incinerated the Earth. So the explanatory mechanisms of current evolutionary biology seem to be inadequate to account for the biological complexity we see given the available time.
Given the available time, but there's nothing in we track it back and it tracks fine. If you want something that doesn't make any fucking sense, you track the amount of time between the Tower of Babel and the Egyptian slave exodus. Go look at the time frame between that, and you tell me how many people are, you know what, don't even babble. Go from Noah. Go from how many people were alive after the flood, which is like, what, 7? I don't remember how many. Call it 7 for now. 7 to 11? I mean, women don't count, right? So, the number of people, Noah and his family, and then you track to see how much time between Noah and his family and the exodus from Egypt. Right? The exodus from Egypt has to have enough people to form multiple dynasties and have people separated enough that they are now enslaving each other. So, and then you also have to look back at Egyptology and see how far back, how long do we have records of Egypt, of people in Egypt being Egyptian. Good luck China exists as well if you really want to throw a wrench into things, but you don't have to work that hard. But even just if you go with the Genesis story, you still run into, or your Adam and Eve story, you still run into the problem of who are Cain and Abel making kids with? Question mark? There's some plot, what I would call plot holes, but it doesn't really matter because his argument makes no sense. It's malformed. Probably because this video is so short. Complexity we see given the time available. What does that even mean? We have it, so you have to find an error in the in the fossil records? The fossil records are pretty complete. I don't know what he's asking for here, because the complexity is we're all eukaryotes. I mean, not all of us, but us watching, we're all eukaryotes. We're all multicellular, biological, carbon-based life forms. It's not... Are pine trees and elephants related? It doesn't... this is silly. This is a silly thing to say. They were doing their ribs. Barbecue. What biological diversity or complexity? What is he calling this? The biological complexity? Hold on.
Biology seem to be inadequate to account for the biological complexity we see given the available time.
The biological complexity. What is biological complexity in his statement? Like, the eye is complicated and has lots and lots of layers, therefore it would have taken a really, really long time to evolve? Is that what he means? If you want to screw with somebody about how wacky evolution can be, tell them about flowers and bugs. Flowers develop patterns and different colors, and they can't see. They don't know that they look like a mantis, or a mantis is looking like a flower. Like, they don't know that. Like the blossom mantis. They don't know those things. Plants don't see colors. A plant doesn't know what a mantis is. Doesn't have that kind of level of understanding. But flowers will develop patterns, and they will develop shapes, and they will develop, like, things that we would identify. Like, wow, that looks like a ribbon, or wow, that looks like a heart, or wow, that looks like... But that's us! That's us imposing that onto that thing. It didn't do that. It didn't do that with any kind of intention. This is silly. Oh, it was over. Anyway, Frank Turek is a goober. Is general theory of evolution bulletproof? Definitively answers no. Why do they cut these things into such short little blurbs? Like, you actually think this was a good video that explained something? Because it didn't. It didn't do that thing at all. What else you got here? Cross-examined. What the fuck is this? A rap battle over Islam. Frank Turek exposes a fatal flaw in this Muslim... Oh, God. Frank and friends react to our most popular video of all time. Should the US be more socialist? And then it's got, like, the Russian communist flag? Oh, God damn it. Oh, God. 3 reasons why first cause must be personal with William Lane Craig. Okay, yeah, whatever. Whatever, Craig. Go back to justifying genocide, you weirdo. Should abortion be the first issue or the only issue? If you really want to vote pro-life, do this. I don't wanna click on that. Who's that?
Pro-life Christians are really just single-issue voters, true or false?
True and false, depends on what sense you mean. Pro-life Christians are single-issue voters in the sense that they often recognize that abortion is the single most consuming moral, humanitarian, political, economic issue of our day.
What? There's genocides happening right now. Are you sure? What? This is from 3 weeks ago. Please tell Elmo.
Second only to evangelism, getting people out of hell.
Yes, of course. The political position, the most moral issue is converting people. Uh-huh. It's okay, Internet. I'll wait. Womp, womp.
Issue of our day. Second only to evangelism, getting people out of hell and into heaven. Probably abortion is right under there in terms of importance. And so, yeah, we're kind of single-issue voters, but we're not single-issue voters in the sense that this is this consummate issue that brings together all the other issues. It's economy, it's family, it's education, it's fiscal responsibility, it's government corruption. All your big flags that are steering elections.
I think my internet is trying to save me. Like, that's what I think right now.
Recently,
I think, Aaron talked earlier about how I was gonna cyberbully somebody into, yeeting themselves off the planet. I think it might be me. I think I might be the one that I think I think I am cyberbullying myself into watching this shit. It's me. Oh no. Chesh, isn't abortion really the biggest genocide of all? I've genuinely heard people make that argument. That's not what a genocide is. They might want to look up what the word genocide means. The only way that would be a genocide is if you were explicitly targeting only a specific group. And like I don't know, if you were a god and killing all the firstborns or something. Maybe that. I wanted to do this instead of sleep. It's a shame I didn't charge my pen. I'll make sure my pen gets charged so we can do more art tomorrow. I kind of agree with what he's saying for this second half, where he's saying that abortion isn't a problem in economics or with economics. And I kind of agree because fiscal responsibility, I don't know about the government corruption thing. I think that might be I guess you could say that it's not constitutional, and because governments are trying to circumvent the Constitution to disallow abortion then and people's bodily autonomy, then you could try and kind of tie that in there. But I'm going to leave that one on a shelf for now. If you were to say that you want the conversation about having more or less abortions is about economics and is about fiscal responsibility and is about where we're at, right? Where where you are and where people are at, right? Economics plays a big part in whether or not somebody is going to be able to take care of a child, and whether or not the government is able to support X number of children that do not have families. So whether they've had them and given them up for adoption, or whether they've died during childbirth, right? On the other hand, that's an issue about social economic access, right? And social economic status. And if you want less abortions, then what you want is you need more education and you need a more stable economy. And America does not currently have those things. Although people on the outside will say that the American economic status and the Canadian economics has actually stabilized and is looking really good. That's an illusion. Whereas, yes, by numbers it looks good, but not by distribution. And because the distribution is fucked up, it means that it's very, very volatile for the majority of people and very stable for a handful of people. Anyway, the right to access to abortion is not an economic issue, it's a bodily autonomy issue, and it's a matter of choice. The pro-life people are not pro-life. The pro-life people are anti-choice. They don't want you to be allowed to make a choice about what happens to your body. And on top of that, it means that the man in the relationship, whether or not they're actually a man or not is not relevant. The point is the pregnant person and the significant other can't do anything if something happens to this person. So if this person is unconscious, this person will also no longer be allowed to make a choice. This person, whether they live or die, will be up to fate and nothing else. So, because you get no options. The point is that you have no choice in their scenario. If you want to say it's an economic issue, you could call it a class issue, because since when has whether something was illegal or not ever stopped a rich person from being able to do it if you have enough money? Not even once, baby. Not even once. Drugs are only a crime if you're poor. Speeding is only a crime if you're poor. Getting a parking ticket is only a crime if you're poor. Stealing is only a crime if you're poor. Jeez. That's how it is. Is it right? No. Do some people get punished? Yes. But overall, that's basically how it works. So, welcome to late-stage capitalism, I guess, if you want to make it an economic issue, but it's like it could be considered a classist issue, I guess, since certain people are still going to be getting them and getting them safely because they're able to afford the medical treatment. And speaking of medical treatment and economics, America, stop. Get some help.
They all tie.
Anyway, I kind of agree that they tie into each other, but not at the access level. If you want less abortions, those things tie into each other. Abortion access is not about economics. The abortion access is about bodily autonomy.
Into the abortion issue. So this is kind of an all-in-one type of issue that you can cover most all of your political hot topics, or at least you can address all of them with this one issue. Now, stepping back for a second, I'm not saying that abortion is the only important issue, but I am saying it is roughly comparable to things like slavery or apartheid. They are so huge, such heavy, morally charged issues that for any politician to qualify for my vote, they have to at least get this one right. Then we can start talking about all the other issues. But as
I would love to think, I would love to headcanon that this guy is saying that forcing a woman to give birth would be like enslaving her. I would love if that was the direction that this was going, but somehow I really don't think that's how his audience is taking it. I would love if that were the case. Okay.
As long as we've got a whole party or two parties in the US that are wrong on this issue, that's like being wrong on slavery. You can't get my vote and be wrong on slavery. You can't get my vote and be wrong on apartheid, or wrong about the Jewish question, or wrong about abortion. And so if you get that right, then you can qualify for my vote, but you don't have it yet, because now we can graduate to the other discussions about other stuff that matters too.
What a very weird video to put out there without definitively saying what the position is. Did you guys notice that? Yeah, casually just dropped the Jewish question like it was nothing, right? $50 on this guy will force a woman to marry their rapist. Yeah, probably. Okay. See, here's the thing, right? That is a very, very, very charged video to explicitly not state what the position on abortion is supposed to be. Did you guys notice that? Did you notice that it did not say what the actual, answer is? They just said it was a big deal and a big problem, and it goes into all these other things, but you gotta get this right before we go into the other issues, but didn't say what the right answer was? Huh, sneaky, sneaky. I wonder how their audience is supposed to take that. Gee, I don't know. Does abortion trump everything else? Legislating morality, is it wise, is it legal, is it possible? It's a book by Frank Turek. Frank Turek is kind of the worst. Let's see. See if we can find a comment. Free download of a sermon. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. I don't care. Unfortunately, one candidate supports abortion up to the unfortunately, one candidate supports abortion. Okay, I don't care what any moral man says or thinks about abortion. In my heart and a moral guide, God inspires me to fight for human life. Yeah, okay. What is it? Which human life? I don't ascribe to arguing about whether or not a fetus is a baby. I think that's a conversation is a waste of fucking time. But which human? Which human life are you gonna fight for? It seems like your morals differ from the Christian God. He had no problem wiping out life in horrific ways. Seems like you don't know the Bible. If you had any morals, you wouldn't want to legally enforce your religious beliefs onto other people. Me being anti-abortion isn't a religious belief. Yes, it is. I mean, the guy literally said it was here, so different guy, though. If you think being pro-life is inseparable from religion, then so is supporting laws that make murder illegal. What the fuck? The chaos! This comment section is absolute fucking chaos. Oh my god. No, the Bible says God. Oh my god. Use the flood for a global genocide. No, the Bible says God used the flood to punish people for their sin. Okay, yeah, which people? All of them? When right to life is denied and nothing else matters. Yeah, okay, yeah. Politics is all about blah, blah, blah. Jesus gave this blah, blah, blah. God isn't red or blue, but he is pro-life. Kind of candidate we want might not be able to win. Yeah, so I think we can pretty definitively see how the audience took this video. Which I think would be the intention of the video, but it's interesting that they decided not to quite say that. I do not have the dislike extension though. I don't have a whole ton of extensions on my browser. I don't like using a bunch of extra crap. I also don't care. I do not. If you would like to look it up for yourself, here's the video so you can look for yours. If you want, that's the video right there. I want to show you guys this video that from my channel from a while ago because we haven't talked about it in a long time, and I watched it recently and it made me laugh, and I want to talk about it. Give me a second. I gotta find it. It's gonna take me a second. The company. We love the company. I still gotta watch Slaughterhouse. Oh yeah, there was some new there's some new Vic Mignogna stuff. There's some new Vic Mignogna. Vic Mignogna. Is it that old? didn't realize it was this old. Oh yeah, I was looking at the Bible to find out like what the Bible says about certain things. That was kind of funny. What does God say about masturbation? You'd be surprised. Why do I feel like this is too far back? Where is it? Munchkin was a weirdo, man. What a guy. What a little dude. I haven't seen that dude again. See, online atheism is the worst. I'm not a big fan of online atheism. I think it kind of sucks. Oh my god, this video. I should just put that one on. Fuck. I got so mad at fucking CNN too. Ugh. Trying to gaslight the shit out of people. Man, I'm all over the place. I make a lot of content. Here it is. Wait a sec. Don't play yet. Don't play yet. There we go.
These people were complaining about, like, these graphics nowadays aren't realistic at all. They look so lame and stuff. And I'm like, geez, go back and play Atari and regular Nintendo. And
Yeah,
so
remember
now.
8-bit? Yeah, I mean,
Well, there's two differences there, though, right? Mario isn't supposed to look realistic, right? Most old school Nintendo games that they were limited, so none of them were actually supposed to look realistic. Now you're producing cinematic level of video games that are being sold on the idea that they look realistic. So the complaint is a little bit fair in that context.
I mean, to them, but people that like us that grew up with Frogger and stuff, and like, yeah, this looks.
Well, I don't think there's any set standard of what photorealism actually entails.
A few moments later.
But I remember the very first time I beat Super Mario Brothers on the NES. And here's the thing: what you don't understand, Chess, is like you're playing Super Mario Brothers, and you go through 100 levels, and every time you complete a level, you go through like sub levels, and then you have to complete the big level, and you go through a total of 100 levels. Every level predictably gets harder and less chances for you to win. And every time you get to the end of the level, you're like, I saved the princess. Then it says, we're sorry, Mario, your princess is in another castle. And you're like, what kind of crap is this? So you keep playing, and you obsess over this game, trying to, not get eaten by Goombas and jump over fire pits and whatever. And finally, when you finally beat the game, which took me like 9 months to do, the princess comes out, I'm sorry, Mario, your princess is in another castle. Ha ha, joking. And that is the reward you get for playing 100 levels.
Well, if it makes it feel any better, in the second Mario game, it's all just a dream.
I'm hilarious. Okay, so one thing that we don't talk about too much is I'm ignoring the photorealism thing. But this part right here, just the first minute.
Play Atari and regular Nintendo. And
Yeah,
so
remember
now.
8-bit? Yeah, I mean,
Well, there's two differences there, though, right? Mario isn't supposed to look realistic, right? Most old school Nintendo games that they were limited, so none of them were actually supposed to look realistic. Now you're producing cinematic level of video games that are being sold on the idea that they look realistic. So the complaint is a little bit fair in that context.
I mean, to them, but people that like us.
To them, but.
That grew up with Frogger and stuff, and like, yeah, this looks.
Well, I don't think there's any set standard of what photorealism actually entails.
That doesn't acknowledge my argument. Or my point. It's not even my argument. They're sitting around nodding in agreement with me, and then turn around and say complete non sequitur and be like, yeah, but Frogger looked bad. Yeah, games are being marketed as realistic Games are being marketed on their graphics. So if a game comes out that's being marketed on its graphics and it doesn't look good, then people have the right to complain. But these people didn't care. They're not actually interested. This is exactly what I was talking about when I said that people aren't having the discussion anymore. They just want to complain. These three people didn't care about what the arguments were or what the positions of those people were. They just wanted to sit around and bitch about people who are younger than them who weren't happy with a product that was sold to them under false pretenses. If you had Frogger being presented as a game that is supposed to have, like, it's supposed to look realistic and have realistic water and have, like, a frog jumping across. For example, people are fine with Minecraft. Minecraft looks pixelated on purpose. You can get mods that make it look different or nicer or change up the water textures and stuff like that. And great, and people will do that. But nobody's sitting around and complaining about the graphics of Minecraft. So, like, these people just want to get around, they want to sit around and they just want to fucking bitch. They just want to sit around and bitch and moan and fucking complain all the time. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's stupid. It's big dumb. Very big dumb. Alright. I just wanted to talk about that because it bothered me. Because we never really talked about that part of the conversation. This was funny. This guy was like, children were express sexual interest before puberty. Responding with banal memes doesn't make this any less disgusting or dangerous. You should be utterly ashamed of continuing to promote this stuff. A whole story about that shit. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to look at my bookmarks. Okay. So, here it is. Vic claims that he's never been a prima donna ever. Anyone out there who's ever worked for an anime convention care to chime in on this one. Also, Vic just thinks the whole world is jealous of his awesomeness. What a pathetic asshole. All right, ready?
And they would tell you, no, you could call any event that I've ever attended. You could call any event that I've ever attended and ask them what kind of crazy, prima donna demands I made, and they would tell you none, because I don't. I don't make demands at all, and I don't think I'm a prima donna. And yet, this is where we're going with that, and yet there are people out there spreading garbage that I'm a prima donna. And I'm like, what do you base that? First of all, who are you? You don't even know what you're talking about. And second of all, I have never been a prima donna, but let me tell you what happens. When you aspire to a certain level in any field, you automatically subject yourself to ridicule, jealousy, professional jealousy, and people that just, there are people out there, Peter, believe it or not, that just can't stand to see other people succeed. It just rubs them the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's just like, why should he get to...
You know what this sounds like? Something a prima donna would say. Everybody's just jealous of me. That's something a prima donna would say. Oh, no, there's been stories about Vic being that, like, being needy and annoying and shitty to staff, convention staff for years. Side note, he admitted to that. Did he not say that he's, like, maybe he didn't treat people always the greatest and he had off days and stuff too? So, yeah, just because you don't think you are one doesn't mean anything. And Yagoomba, this guy.
It just rubs them the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's just like, why should he get to do this? Why didn't I get this opportunity? Why should he be this, or why should she get that, not me? If you create something that kind of stands above the rest, sure, you're going to get a lot of this, right?
Name one. The only thing I can think of that people are like, oh, wow, this is really good, was Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, of which Vic was the voice for Edward Elric. But none of it is... I don't think I've heard anybody being like, oh yeah, this performance could never be done again. I haven't heard that. I have heard that about Mustang, about Travis. I've heard people say that about Travis's role as Mustang, particularly when he's fighting Envy. I've never heard anybody say that about a Vic performance. In fact, Vic explains how he's not really a good voice actor. So I don't know what he himself has created that is a cut above the rest. Being part of a production that overall did very, very well, so like the Broly movie and like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is a collective, not a singular. The fact that he's presenting it as a singular is something a prima donna would do.
You're going to get a lot of, man, what a great job. I love your series. And you're also going to get people who try to slander and, you know what I mean, and backbite and backstab and cause trouble because they just can't stand that you achieved something where they did not.
Yeah, I don't think that he's done that. Listen up, liberal, my career left me. I'm great, I've never been a problem. It's the filthy common folk who are seeking with jealousy that are at fault. When you're a genius like me, people try to throw mud and play the victim. It's not my problem if they aren't oozing with talent like me. Smells own farts. God damn it. Oh, God. Fucking damn it. Do you guys want to see Rudy Giuliani getting caught? The New York Post about it. Check it out. See if it plays.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lee. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to our hero, Rudy.
What?
Oh, there's only one speech. There's only one speech. Thank you, and let's all stick together.
Yeah.
This time we can make no mistakes. If we want our country back. Do you want your country back?
I was hoping the police would show up. Okay. Rudy Giuliani's birthday bash ends in chaos as guests scream and cry when he is served papers for AZ's fake electoral case. Or is this showing me a thing about fucking eyelash? I don't give a shit. Rudy Giuliani got more than cake and presents on his 80th birthday bash. He was also served justice. I don't know about that. It's a bit extreme, but okay. The former New York City mayor was tripping the light fantastic with pals in Palm Spring Friday night when he was intercepted outside the party of his home of the GOP consultant Caroline Wynn by two officials from the Democratic Arizona Attorney General Chris May's office, sources told the Post. The pair served Giuliani with a legal notice of his Arizona indictment for allegedly being involved in a plot to overturn the 2020 election in favor of ex-President Donald Trump. Most of the 200 guests were gone by the time the duo showed up at around 11 p.m., but some of the stragglers began screaming, including one woman who cried as Giuliani was handed the papers, according to the source. Final is now about defendant was served several moments ago. Nobody's above the law. And it was a screenshot to this. If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment, and 2, they must concede they can't count votes. So that happened at what time? 11 p.m. They had one more hour to serve him, and they did. That's very funny. Was not fazed, insisted a source close to the mayor. Quote, "It actually wasn't that big of a deal," said the person. The party's guests who received gold and black invitations featuring a photo of Giuliani in a tux and another of him wearing aviator shades and a USA hat included embattled former President Trump advisor Steve Bannon and Roger Stone. Whoa, so they got invited. Okay. Quote, while crime in Arizona is at an all-time high, the Arizona AG's office felt it was a good use of resources to send multiple agents across the country to storm an 80th birthday party like it was Normandy, fumed Wren. Wow, or when. Giuliani seemed to be... Arizona's crime is at an all-time... Crime in Arizona is at an all-time high. How dare they do something about some of this crime? He didn't even get to open his box of motor oil for hair dye before he was served. Oh, that's so sad. Giuliani seemed to be enjoying himself throughout the party, celebrated 11 days before his actual birthday on May 28th, even posting for a photo with bevy of blonde bombshells, and he posted on X while taunting Mays. Fucking Steve Bannon. So they didn't just get invited. Roger Stone and Steve Bannon were both there. Wait, is this a video? No, this is... Okay. If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment. 2, they must concede they can't count votes, wrote Giuliani in the Post, which has since been deleted. Quote, the final defendant was served moments ago. Rudy Giuliani, nobody is above the law. Mays posted on X late Friday. We read it. Giuliani was the last of the 18 pro-Trump defendants to be served in the indictment returned by the grand jury last month. They're accused of partaking in a failed bid to win the state's 11 presidential electoral votes to Trump. Besides Arizona, the states of Michigan, Nevada, Georgia are also charging electors for falsely casting votes for Trump. Despite the unexpected guests, those invited attended Giuliani's party, quote, had a really good time, said a source close to the ex-mayor. Sure, that's what we're concerned about. The event featured a Frank Sinatra tribute band, with Giuliani at one point leading the band singing New York, New York. Oh my fucking god, who cares? Giuliani also found time to talk about this year's presidential race and his desire to boot Joe Biden from the White House. Quote, this time we can make no mistakes if we want our country back. Do you want your country back? Bellowed Giuliani to a crowd of video obtained by the Post. Quote, then we gotta work like hell from now until Election Day, and who knows, maybe after, which I learned, but they are not taking this country away from us, end quote. Giuliani's spokesman, that's kind of an admission. Maybe after? Giuliani's spokesman, Ted Goodman, said the former mayor wasn't fazed by the decision, quote, to try to embarrass him, end quote, on his birthday. Yeah, that's the problem. Definitely not that time he tried to host a conference outside of a Four Seasons and it was the wrong Four Seasons. That's definitely not, this is the embarrassment. People need to try to embarrass Rudy Giuliani, right? That right? People need to put an effort to do that? I don't know. Quote, he enjoyed an incredible evening with hundreds of people who love him from all walks of life, and we look forward to vindication soon, he said. Giuliani is expected to celebrate his birthday again on May 31st at Midtown Eatery Amada. I don't know what that is. Both parties come with a gift registry, including everything from an electric razor and Giorgio Armani cologne to, quote, stain-blocking ceiling paint and a 55-inch TV. The gift registry on Amazon sent out by PAL specifies which gift should be sent to his Manhattan Palm Beach address. Man, rich people. A message told guests that gifts aren't necessary, but if you wanted to give presents, to refer to the Amazon registry. The Amazon registry is titled Rudolph Giuliani Ellipses 80th birthday party, May 28th, 2024, shows that gifts already purchased for the former Trump advisor include a home sleeper chair, convertible bed, ceiling paint, a Braun electric razor, LED chandeliers, a Shure microphone, a cooling comforter, and an iPad. Like, talk about a shitload of useless information. But at the end of the day, haha, busted. Loser. I have some stuff saved about the Canadian guy running. Polvier, right? Is this the one? I don't know if I have it like super available right now. I can see if I can find it, but he made a statement. He made a statement with a picture of Toronto that had like tents outside and was like, "Oh my god, it wasn't like this before Trudeau." And people, all of the comments were like, "Homeless people didn't exist before Trudeau." Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? and like, so silly. So like this one is let me just, oh, I opened it twice. So this one is, we're gonna go over this probably on the tavern a little bit because people have been asking me a little bit more about Canadian politics recently. But Polvier voted against environment and climate 400 times. The CPC leader voted, that's the Conservative Party of Canada's CPC, leader voted in favor of protecting the planet only 13 times in 20 years, as an MP de-smog analysis of the voting records reveals. Find out more here. So this is the... Polvier voted against environment and climate change over 400 times, records show. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, get out of here, Pierre Poilievre, has voted against the environment and climate nearly 400 times during his 20-year career as a member of Parliament, according to the House of Commons voting records analysis by DSMOG. That includes voting nay to bills crafted to holding mining companies accountable for environmental damages, move Canada closer towards achieving its climate targets, create high-quality jobs in low-carbon industries nationwide, and align Canadian laws with the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and international framework known as the UNDRIP. The UNDRIP. It sounds like a villain name. The UNDRIP. God. Polvier's anti-environment record also includes voting yay for legislation designed to weaken environmental safeguards on new industrial projects and accelerate the expansion of oil and gas industry, Canada's largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions. During his 2 decades in Parliament, Polvier voted in favor of the environment and the climate action just 13 times. DSMOG calculates based on a comprehensive list detailing every House of Commons vote he's made as a federal politician. Quote, those numbers say to me that he doesn't believe we need to actually roll up our sleeves and work on climate change in a meaningful way. Bruce, whatever. President of the Canadian Labour Congress, a national labour organization that's been supporting ongoing federal legislation to foster climate change-friendly union jobs. Quote, I'm very concerned about what Pierre Poilievre government will look like. Polvier's office didn't respond to questions from DSMOG about environmental voting record. The Conservative leader, which some polls suggest is favored by Canadians to be the next Prime Minister, stated earlier this year that as far as climate change policy goes, he is in favor of technology, not taxes, without providing concrete details. He is, meanwhile, enthusiastic about oil and gas expansion. Quote, we're going to clear the way for pipelines. He has promised, quote, I am going to support pipelines south, north, east, west. We will build Canadian pipelines. Fucking yikes, dude. Agreed, negative, agreed. So you can see people's voting records, by the way. So if anybody is interested in Polvier, you can look it up. But this fucking guy, dude... Fuck this dude. I'm not gonna lie. This guy kind of fucking sucks. It really is sad that people do seem to think that he's going to be... Look, I even got a card for him. Look. It's like, go vote for this guy. It's this fuck nugget. Ew. Yuck. Gross. Don't do it. Don't vote for this guy. If you're out there and you're Canadian, please, I beg you, don't vote for this fucking man. Fuck. So sad. Anyway. I'm tired. Is anybody live? What are you playing? Death Stranding? Yeah, I'm gonna raid. We're gonna get on out of here. I'm done. We'll talk more about this on Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit about like the climate change efforts and a bunch of other stuff because it's the tavern, so come and join us for the tavern. I'm going to get out of here because I am exhausted and I've been live for almost 4 hours already. Just talking for 4 hours. end me. End my suffering. I'm getting out of here. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. I'll be back tomorrow, probably with art. Okay, bye.
I honestly don't know what to expect.